Here we go on a Monday evening. Welcome to Outlaw Radio Live. Outlaw Radio Live on a Monday night, man. We haven't been on since last Wednesday. So I hope to kind of be able to close the gap between what happened last week versus this week. Because, what we actually do a lot of times is we talk about things before they happen. And then when they happen, we have conversations about the aftermath, right? Like the election, like I hate to say it, the Diddy trial, like, the referendum for MPS, like all these kinds of things that we've just discussed when they were on the horizon. And then we're able to extend that discussion after it was over. My name is Kevin Barnes. I'm the host of Outlaw Radio. We're on Mondays, Wednesdays, usually 7:30 p.m. until about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I usually don't try to keep it up all night, 3 or 4 hours. But if the conversation goes, then the conversation goes. I said all that to say there's a phone number attached to the show, 262-202-5131. It's 262-202-5131. We also have a chat room. People usually jump in the chat room to take part in the conversation. So a lot of times, everyone has a podcast now. So many people do this. And I think the art of it is kind of lost in the availability of the equipment to do it, right? Like, it's just like we talk about music. It used to be back in the days, if you were a musician or a recording artist, to be able to just jump in a studio and get studio quality sound was very expensive and very hard to find. Depending on where you're at. In Milwaukee, it was really. I know there were studios here and whatnot, but I'm just saying it wasn't something everybody was able to do. But then now you look at technology where all you actually need is a computer or a phone. Like, people record movies and phone and albums off their phone. So podcasting is the same way. The fact that you can go to Amazon right now and get a kit already put together, everything you need, board, headphones, mic, $75 to $100. People say, I'm doing this. So, if you're going to choose, I realize people have a lot to choose from. So if you choose what I do here on Outlaw Radio, I greatly appreciate you. I'll give you some credit for that one. Yeah. If you listen to everyone, if you support everyone, you know what I'm saying? That's cool too. So just to be able to have certain conversations, I think in some ways it may be a little therapeutic because, a lot of us are, so confined to ourselves. We don't really talk to other people. So here's a safe space for us to talk amongst each other. What do we talk about? We talk about everything that's relevant and important to us, right? It's a foundational Black American platform. So enough explaining. It was 4th of July. Okay. We made it through, AKA Independence Day. Very eventful weekend, to say the least. We'll get into this thing as we roll along. And a lot, as well as a lot of other things happening at the same time. So we should have a pretty good conversation here tonight. And like I said, please don't hesitate to contribute if you have an opinion. All I ask is that you respect the platform, right? Then I won't have to hang up on your ass. So it's all good. Witch Doctor, what's going on with you, man? How you doing?
Hey, I'm all right, man. I'm all right. How y'all doing? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the Black woman lover, the Black man's brother, the culture teacher, the hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor, the real OG. Hey, mama, Satan Moss, man. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, man. That people house is mentality. Get your ass up out the house. Come on down there. Get some of this cold sea moss lemonade. When you sweat, you lose minerals. This lemonade gonna replenish the minerals, y'all. Come get it.
How was your weekend, man? How was your holiday?
It was smooth. It was laid back. Relaxing.
Yeah, it was
I ain't
smooth.
do
It was
nothing for the fourth. If that's what you mean, I ain't had
the whole weekend. I mean, shit. It's just
for me. It was smooth.
All right. I mean, I ain't gonna designate. I ask you every Monday, well, how was your weekend? So just the fact that the 4th was part of it is what it is. Right. Like mine was cool. Like but I did learn something. I learned that I'm getting old, and I was grilling, and I'm telling you, it was hot as a piece. Woo wee! I had the sun on my back and the grill in front of me. I was like, I need to go in the house and get under the air. I am super, super soft now. I had my ribs on the grill last. I'm like, I'm gonna stay out here till they done, man. I ended up in the crib telling my wife, can you go get them ribs? That son had me parched. But it was smooth, man. It was a smooth weekend. Mariah Johnson, what up, cuz? Oh, she's in the chat room. How you doing? She said, good evening. What's up with you, cuz? Chilling. No, it was smooth. But then, okay, so my son, obviously, you know, he did the whole firework thing, which is always amazing to me that these are illegal, supposedly, allegedly, and the whole city's going up in smoke and flames, right? And I'm talking about around me, it's just like, dude, you don't even need to go to the lakefront. Some people go and spend a lot of money on fireworks, Kamar. Like I'm talking about, they got this shit. They got this shit that got the whole sky lit up.
Hey, I was coming from Woodman's Friday, right when it was getting dark, and I'm coming down that highway on Fond du Lac. You can see the whole city lit up, man. Fireworks jumping off everywhere, all over the city. It actually looked kind of dope.
It was crazy. I was shout out to Westside Zeladon. He was over here chilling with me and shit. And like my son, he's here, so he went with his buddies. They got a bunch of them. So I'm talking about he still got 2 huge ones left in the garage. I'm like, dude, that's some shit you gotta take to the lakefront. But they had, yeah, it was crazy, man. So we did that, and then of course, the next day he said he wanted to go to Summerfest. Okay. So I'm like, okay, cool. I get it. It's summer. You got your little job. You just got paid. You know, I seen you go buy your little fit on the Summerfest. Man, I am sitting. Now, this is Saturday. So this is the 5th, actually. So I'm sitting here. I'm chilling. You know, I'm just chilling. I'm watching Facebook, and all I'm seeing is y'all better go check on y'all kids. These kids is wilding down here at Summerfest. So I'm like, man, I don't want to look on this video, and my son is on one of these videos fighting or getting beat up, right? So I wouldn't look. Finally, I went, and when I finally came in the house, I was getting ready to go to sleep. I heard him come in the back door. I said, okay, so he made it home. I looked at the video, and man, oh man, holy, holy, holy Jesus. Our young people showed out down there. Like not to even dress it up or just, it's just crazy. I mean, and I seen a view, it was like an overview, so you could see a large area. There was a fight here, and one in the middle. This is all simultaneous. And I'm like, it's people just kind of walking, moving back and forth on the outskirts. It was crazy, man. I don't know, man. It was kind of
next year they're going to have to be accompanied by an adult watch.
Yeah, well, yeah. Or it'd be like 21.
I'm just saying that's what I think will happen. I think that's gonna be automatic. You're gonna have to be 21 to get in. And if you're under 21, you're gonna have to be accompanied probably by somebody over 25 or some shit.
Right. And we know the kids who hang out by the door and be like, oh gee, would you kind of just walk in with you? Whatever.
Hell no. Hell no, they ain't get me on no picture with you coming in.
Mariah said they have price now. Oh, the fireworks. But see, those fireworks you can buy at those kind of like a store. They're not the ones like you know, like I swear I ain't gonna say where I was or where I was at, but I know if I seen there was a guy sitting with a U-Haul trailer and the door was wide open and it was full to the brim, and it was like 7-8 people standing there just buying fireworks. Now those are the ones that you see that when it go off you be like, damn, what was that? So yeah, but I see them. They put the little smoke bombs and the little kitty sparklers on sale at Menards. Let me see what else we got, y'all. Y'all get in this chat room with us, get in this conversation. Earl Henning, what it do, my brother? How you doing, man? He said, what it do? Chocolate milk. Let me get this thing right here. Stephanie Bowles, how you doing, my sister? Welcome to the show. Haven't heard from you for a minute. He said, what it do, my brothers? Chocolate milk love us. It's cuz she said it was sad to see all those fights. My son couldn't get grief fast unless he was. She said he couldn't getting grief fast unless he was with someone 21 or he couldn't get in Greek fest unless he was someone 21 or older. I don't know.
They already making rules.
Why they didn't do that? Well, you know what happened with Greek Fest, man.
Black folks gonna make it hard on black folks. I'm telling you. I was watching the same type of. Say what?
Earl, I'm still reading the chat. Earl said, get your kids, people. But no, go ahead. That was the last comment.
No, I was just watching the same type of thing. They talking about Carnival cruises. And
Yeah.
how black
Yep.
folks acting a fool on Carnival cruises. You know what
No
I'm
rap
saying?
music.
Yeah, now they changing the rules. You know what I mean?
Yep.
After 11 o'clock, after a certain time, you got to be with somebody of age. You know what I mean? You got to be 25 to get on a motherfucker or something. Or you got to be a they got a whole bunch of rules and it's around the stuff what black people do. They like no hip hop, no boots on the ground. But you know, when you watch some of the videos, I can dig it. They on there fighting and shit all over the motherfucking place, arguing with everybody, arguing with the people who run the boat. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so I get it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a lot of people that don't like that shit. And they talking about Carnival Cruise is racist. They gonna, no, man, I'm gonna protect my business. Shit, if you niggas is fucking up my business, I'm gonna make some rules so y'all can't come.
Well, if you think about the idea of Carnival Cruise having a package in which you have unlimited access to alcohol, you are literally on a boat with a bunch of other people in the middle of the ocean. There's nothing else for you to do except for drink. And you sitting around
it's unlimited bottom shelf too. So you know you like miserable drunk, right?
Right. So you just like Seagram's bumpy faced kid.
You bumpy faced out there in the middle of the ocean.
A million Long Islands. A Long Island is easily the worst drink you could ever drink when you go out. And because it doesn't taste that bad, but it's like 5 different alcohols in it, and you will be completely smashed fucking with Long Islands. If you've ever drank, been out, man, I'm trying, and I know that's what people are drinking. And then you throw some rap music in there, it's a bad idea. So I'm not, take that off before somebody get through off the top of the boat, right? But the rap music thing is kind of crazy because I mean, there's a way to play rap music without playing gutter rap music. Like, I feel like you're disrespecting hip hop. You can play, ain't nobody fighting off no Tribe Called Quest. Bonita Applebum, come on, you like, I'm finna fire on somebody. No. Kid and Play. You know, it's some classic hip hop that ain't gangster rap, that ain't thug, drug, shoot 'em up, bang, bang. And to take line dancing, I would think the line dance should be the most popular part of the cruise, where people out there boots on the ground, all that. You know,
they said no fans. You can't no fans. They tired of the fans popping and shit. Pop, pop, pop. All the fans. They said I was watching a bunch of people saying that too. Like, I'm tired of them damn fans and shit.
Well, what's gonna happen is some other cruise line is gonna say, "Hey, we didn't change our shit," so they'll just lose business.
Exactly. You know what I think about the line dancing? Because see, they cool with line dancing. It's just the boots on the ground line dance they don't want to do. You know, I think that one is hard for white folks. You know what I mean? Because they want to do the Cupid shuffle still. You know what I'm saying? Some simple shit. But that boots on the ground, black folks put too much swag in it, man. We make that one look too hard for them, I think.
So I haven't, because I don't like, I told you, I don't like dancing videos. And I don't like line dancing videos. So I've never watched it. I've seen snippets of it. Is it really that complex? Is it like river dance or Black River Dance? I don't know.
They'll never pick it up. They'll never pick up that one, man.
Okay. I know they'll do the fans but I'm like, nah, scroll. Right. Nah. But no, but like I said, but that's what happens when everybody's acting a fool, and then the people who ain't trip gotta pay the price.
And that's what you also got a lot of people who ain't never been nowhere, so they don't know how to act.
Especially on the damn ocean with endless alcohol for 5 days.
They don't know how to act. You know what I'm saying? They done brought alcohol with them and shit, all too.
You could park that boat in the bay and have that same package, and it'll still be, you still gonna have to take some people off the ship. Like, God damn, that motherfucker.
So, I watch videos of motherfuckers in the Bahamas in the port getting back on the boat, fighting like a motherfucker before they even got back on the boat. Big ass fight. There's 4 families involved in this fight, man. Hey, look, they kicked everybody off right there in the Bahamas. Figure it out. Get home, y'all.
Well, that's what they're saying now, that if you fight, you'll be left at the next port. I did see that.
That's how they did them there. They just left them there.
Your ass right there. Now we get back to these kids, man. Get back to Milwaukee with Summerfest, right? Like, you know, This ain't even on no boat. Earl Henning said, I'm not taking kids with me unless it's a Disney cruise. But I was just talking about Summerfest because Summerfest is a real big attraction, right? Like people from all over the country come. It's like the largest music festival. And it's kind of like something that's positive about Milwaukee because we hear so much bad about Milwaukee. It's one of those events. And it's meant for everyone to to enjoy. That's why they have different stages, different bands, different genres. It's extremely unfair for these kids to go down there. It's a music festival, which means you go there if you love music of some sort. Hey, Steely Dan gonna be here. I don't know who the hell Steely Dan is, but they be advertising like a motherfucker.
You looking for your favorite bands?
Yeah, I just want to go. Yeah, man, we could go out on the lakefront. Got my lady with me. We'll go listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire. What makes them think that they are entitled to go down there and destroy? And you got vendors who paid a fee to go and make money. I got to hit my quota, young man. You right in front of my shit fighting.
Right.
Come on, man. It's these kids, you know, I want to be critical of them, but not be overly critical. I want to be honest about them. And the first honest thing I have to say is they're horrible. And they look horrible. This whole situation, this mentality, this group mob, and then there's kids running with their phones up, not even in the fight. Right. Who the fuck runs into the middle of a brawl with it? You are an action news cameraman. If you just went to school, you can make money off this shit legally. I never ran to a fight, Kamara. If it was a brawl, I never said, unless one of my partners was out there, I ain't never ran just with my phone out like, oh shit. It's like it's entertainment for them. They didn't go there for the music. Unless, you know, they might have seen T Grizzly or whoever, whatever they seen. I know the brother Big Frank was down there and he's performing with his mom.
Man, he got down. They got down. I love that, man.
That's a wild look.
I love that.
Moms be out there popping it too. Like, this is my shot.
Straight up.
That's a wrinkle and it's a glitch in the matrix.
I'm trying to get her a real OG shirt for the next time they perform.
Man,
get her a pink one.
Right. Ewok, how you doing, man? He said, how you get into a fight on a cruise? Hell, you get drunk as hell and y'all all partying. Next thing you know, motherfuckers get down. It's like being in a bar. Sometimes you're in a bar with your partner, you might be in the front getting a drink. You come to the back, they already arguing with somebody else. You're like, what's going on? Next thing you know, boom. Tables done got over.
Or they start arguing at the bar.
Right.
Trying to get a drink. Who was first?
It's hot. It's women. They got on swimsuits. They twerking. This is my
egos,
girl. This is my wife.
Egos on 1,000.
Get the fuck off my girl, nigga. Sometimes the girl creeping. I mean, come on.
You know, every nigga from out of town think they the toughest nigga there. You know what I mean? Because they from where they from and shit.
Got a little money. Got my girl with me.
I'm from Milwaukee, motherfucker. I'm from Milwaukee.
Then the girl, like I said, she drunk. She out on the floor twerking. Some nigga out there, he behind her. You standing there, man, get off my girl. And then there we go. Right. So, yeah, that's how you get into a fight at the bar. That's easy. That's easy. Earl said they work like hell not to have rap music at Afrofest. Yeah, and that's why there is no Afrofest anymore. If they had Afrofest right now, oh my God, it would be a shame.
What it used to be, oh man, they'd tear that motherfucker down,
man, into shreds. It would one Saturday, it'd be like, no, we cool.
They'd tear that motherfucker down.
And because I don't know, it's just this mentality. And once again, I've been a young rambunctious young Mustang out here. You know what I'm saying? I've been out here and we went somewhere. We fuck these dudes up, man. But this is crazy. Just if you just watch, I don't like to watch fight videos, but there's some that are all females. I seen a female get beat so bad, the girl slammed her head on the ground. She was just laying there.
It's a lot more female fights going down that you see than you see male fights, or at least me. You know what I mean? I've been seeing a lot more women losing their cool, you know what I'm saying, fighting, gang fighting too and shit, like vicious.
Yeah, they had it. It's combat. Ace Cooley said, damn, who fight now? It's just the footage that we saw from Summerfest with all the young people. I don't like to say YNs. I really don't like that. Just our young people, boys and girls, you know, young men and young women. I tell you something, man, these young dudes, they be hitting each other upside the head. but nobody seems to really have any punching power. Because I see dudes hit somebody in the back of their head on the side, and the dude don't fall. You know what I'm saying? He just like man. When I was a big dude, especially when I was 16. If I'd have hit a dude in the back of the head, he'd have failed. Like, dog, this knocked me out. That these dudes take big, and then dudes, they just get knocked down, get up, fall. I seen another fight. It was on MLK over the weekend. I don't even know what these dudes was fighting about. One dude got the hell choked out of him. They just had him on the wall.
Especially when you get a bunch of the little undersized motherfuckers.
They all so skinny. They have the little tight ass pants on out there.
Ass pants and shit.
Right, look like a bunch of little kindergartners out there with dreads swinging on each other. Ewok said, surrounded by water, I ain't trying to fight. Yeah, but like for what people tell me is when you're on one of these ships, they're so big that at a certain point, it doesn't seem like you're on the water because the ship is so big. Now, I've never been on a cruise. It's not something that I want to do. I've heard my wife mention recently that was something she would want to do, but I don't think we'd be on Carnival. We'd have to be on something with some Christian stuff.
Carnival.
No, I don't think we do Carnival. I think we do something.
I watched the fight. Motherfucker was hollering, throw him overboard. Throw him overboard. Throw him overboard. Dog, hey, man, to be fighting and to hear motherfuckers say, throw him overboard.
You got to look around, right? Like, who the fuck?
Oh, man, what they talking about?
But look, these boats are so big, they could take you to the rail and y'all could be way up. They're going to throw you over. You're not going to hit the water. You're going to hit the deck below.
You be done hit another deck, yep, depending on how far up you is.
That's horrible. That's horrible. Earl said, don't take your side piece on the cruise. Mariah Johnson said, yeah, it's sad to see females fighting. Ace says, all them skinny jean gangsters trying to be King Von. It's just our youngsters have become so carbon copy. And my son has dreads, and he dressed like a young dude, right? Yeah, he don't do no shiesties, no shit like that. But, he got some tight ass jeans on, right? So, and my wife always be like, all y'all look the same. When we pick him up from somewhere, we pull up, they all got the same hairdo, the same pants, the same shoes. And so I'm like, none of you guys are.
Hey, in a little bitty hoodie.
Yeah, and in 95-degree weather with a hoodie on.
Little hoodies.
Like, why you got that? My little cousin had, I said, it's 90 degrees, little cuz. Why you got the? He said, to me, it feel like 50. I said, you might want to get your iron check. You might be anemic, right? I'm on some old people shit.
But you might be on something.
If it's 90 degrees and you got a hoodie on because you said it feel like it's 50, it is legitimately 90. It ain't just because I'm fat. I get it. You fat, so you gonna sweat. No, it's 90 degrees outside. Come on, man.
Nigga, you need some burdock root, nigga.
Yeah.
Motherfucking sarsaparilla, nigga.
Peace, guys. Jai Forte. I see you, Jai Forte, man. Hey, family, what it do, man? Welcome to the show. He said y'all talking about a few things that have multiple variables. Absolutely, they do. Hey, look, most of the stuff we're gonna talk about, especially in terms of Black people, is gonna be multi-layered. Nothing is simple with us. Nothing is just knee deep. It's totally deep.
Homie.
Yeah. He said, who's this? This is early. He said, but they cry when they bail be high. Well, nobody wants to see. They do, and so does the family. Like, the family is like, no, my son is a good kid. Sometimes when they do the research, the kid been in some, like, the funny part is, okay, it's just from talking to my son, right? He's about to turn
like a little biatch.
He's about to turn 19. So I talk to him a lot just because I try to get what their perspective is. And so I'm trying to see how he feels about this. And he was kind of excited still about it, Kamar. Like, ooh, it was going down. And I was like, what was so exciting about that? Man, he knew a bunch of kids when he got down. And you don't realize how many people you know till you go somewhere. Hey, come on. And shook 50 hands. So he's like, man, I knew a lot of people, but most of the dudes, his peers, were involved at some level, like where they fighting and that kind of shit. So it's a mentality with them. As usual, we'll talk about the problems, but we also are very, very interested in solutions because, like we said, make it can't get in unless you're over 21. And I don't really, with this kind of festival, I don't know that you should be under 21 to go at night.
Anyway,
you know what I'm saying?
All these drunk adults.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think no young kids ought to be walking around here and vulnerable as a motherfucker either.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unsafe if one of them kids, and I'm thinking, if one of them had a fallen or got trampled or fell and hit their head on the concrete. God forbid there was no guns. We always complain that all they do is shoot. They were fighting. We can't accuse them of shooting this time.
You know, they know they gotta go through metal detectors and shit. They probably ain't willing to risk it down there.
And they was fighting, boy. I said, man, I just want to know what are you fighting about?
Right.
What are all of y'all mad at the same time? This is fucked up.
About one thing?
Who not, like, it shouldn't be this many angry people. Like
at the same time. At the same time in the same place.
How could they all be mad at the same time, Kamar? Like it's
three different fights. Three different fights.
I'm at 3 groups. And
that's what I'm talking about.
Several different incidents. Look, I love my black babies, man. So
multiple fights in each group.
This ain't no show where I'm on here talking down to the kids. I'm trying to figure out the mentality. I'm trying to figure out what's really going on, because that says something. If this many children, and I'm calling them kids because they're kids, but if this many kids are together in just a social setting and they say, you know what, fuck it, and they all go to fighting, something's wrong. Unless I'm missing something.
Right.
Okay. You in the mall. This is why you can't go to Mayfair, and fuck Mayfair, because I always don't, Brookfield ain't my favorite place. Shouldn't say that because I do some work in Brookfield. Wauwatosa. I'm sorry. Shout out to Brookfield. Wauwatosa. The mall thing. But the reality of that is our kids have gone out there and acted a goddamn fool. Our kids. I say our, not y'all kids, because we all won. Let me see what Josh saying. He said, our youth are a carbon copy of a lot of us. We had them same dudes. The times just changed. We seen it from our grandparents' views now, but we had fights every Juneteenth, every concert, every event. If we ran across the other hood, only thing different is in 2025, we did it in the 80s. I don't think it's the same though. I'm not saying we didn't have, I just said we was wild, but it wasn't, we never had this situation. We never had that many fights. Us at Summerfest, when did we do that?
How about this, right? We can even agree with it and say the same thing was happening when we was young. And he's right too. We seeing it through our grandparents' eyes and our parents' eyes and shit now. So really, doing what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be talking about this. We're supposed to be down and getting on the behavior. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be doing this stuff. Otherwise, if we wasn't, it'd almost be like we letting it go. You know what I mean? If you don't say nothing, you pretty much agreeing with it. So only thing we really can do, I feel like, is try to speak against it, man, and help stop it when we can.
She said, man, grown folks be angry early in the morning, so their kids be angry too.
Hey, it's some truth into that.
A says, come on, Kev. You know how niggas get mad if somebody bump into one of these silly ass kids. You know how you know how little niggas get mad? I think he put. Earl said they want to be in charge until it's time to pay some bills. Yep. He said, yes, indeed, beloved, we do. What he's talking about is very familiar to me, because I've been at Northridge and seen a gang fight. I've been at Capitol Court, been part of a big brawl. In college, I was a part of bar brawls, just fighting, just plenty fights. I've seen it, but it was a smaller percentage of us, it seems, because if folks and people got to fighting in the mall, it was folks and people. It wasn't all the kids. It wasn't most of the kids. Most of the young people was like, damn, these dudes crazy. Now it seems like it's all of them, with a very few on the outskirts, like, let me move out the way. I shouldn't say all, because I just said my son wasn't involved, but it seems like there's more who partake now. Now, here's the thing. We grew up during the crack epidemic, and this city actually, percentage-wise, we had more higher population then. I believe then there was over 600,000 people in the city still, okay? And there was some fights, and bro, I'm not saying that. Of course, I went to the Palace growing up, so I done seen motherfucker get hit upside the head with skates and all kinds of shit. I'm just saying it seems like there's more kids now. Like, when I see that many kids, like I just said, that many kids at the same time who are just like, fuck it. It used to didn't be that many out of control kids. I guess that's what I'm saying.
I think it's a lot more broke nigga crime going on nowadays than it was back then. Like when I say broke nigga crime, I'm just talking about like stealing cars and putting lives at risk. You know what I'm saying? Along with the fighting and all that type of shit all the time. You know what I mean? You got the shooting to add on to that. So it just seemed like now whenever it's a fight, it just seemed like so much. It's almost amplified now, right? Because it's more of that. When we was young, now when we was growing up, it was more drug dealing was more of the problem.
His job, man. I'm listening to y'all.
All right, just make sure you turn your device down, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead, Kamar, finish up.
When we was growing up, drug dealing was the major issue.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So now we got all this other miscellaneous ass crime that's going around. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, we was fighting every motherfucking where. I remember growing up talking about, damn, every time we go some motherfucking where, somebody got to be fighting and shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even to the club, we go out to the clubs. Every time you go out, some motherfucking where somebody fighting in the parking lot and shit. You know? Or shooting, you know what I'm saying? So the shit was going on. I just feel like we are doing what we supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? We can't stop talking down on the behavior. We got to talk down on the behavior. If we don't, one day it'll never change.
Okay, so now my brother is on the line, and this is unique because I think he has a perspective we haven't had, because I think his ear might be a little, at least in my case, his ear and nose might be a little bit closer to the street than myself. Now, this is my brother Ja.
Okay. Peace. What's up, y'all?
What's going on, man?
Can y'all hear me?
I got you loud and clear, man.
Okay, word. Before I even get started, man, let me give a big up, man, to both of y'all, man, the witch doctor and the Negro whisperer, man. You do still got it going on, man. I respect and love that. Keep it going.
That's what's up, man. Thank you for calling in, man.
Stop. But I had heard y'all. I kind of want to jump right into this. I had heard y'all, right? I was actually getting out of one of my classes, and you know, I tune in to y'all, right? And some days I just don't say nothing. I just be letting y'all do y'all thing, right? But today I heard some stuff that I was like, yo, I want to chime in a bit, you know, from my perspective, because you are right. I'm still in the streets. I'm still working with the kids. You know what I'm saying? And I'm hearing a lot of things from these kids, man, that I never thought about. 90%, and don't quote my numbers, 90% of these children don't have fathers in the home. These ain't no role models. Remember, we had role models. Our grandfather, if our daddy wasn't there, our uncles, if he wasn't there, or we had the neighbor. We had people in the community that we looked up to. Now, they don't have that. We got silos of people doing certain things, but those are silos. So if I'm just working on the east side, what about the north and the west side?
Right.
What about the south side? Them kids over there ain't getting the love that I may be giving first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and key. You get what I'm saying? So I'm saying all of that to simply say that it's a lot of variables, and that's what I put in the text. And what I mean by that, man, these kids not eating. These kids are raising themselves. These kids are they're goofy on top of that, you know. So if one of them gets swung on, 20 of them gonna swing, because their loyalty right now to each other is something crazy. It's completely different when we grew up and we was on some gang stuff. It might be 10 of us and 4 of them might run, and the other one's gonna stand there and fight. Now today, if one gets swung and it's 20 of them, 27 gonna swing. Because what's the name had a cousin them that was over there, and they gonna all fight together. That's how their mindset is of today. You know what I'm saying? They feel like they up against the world, and don't nobody care about them until they end up getting in trouble. Now we want to show that we care about them because they got in trouble. So people that's continuously promoting these whack videos, all this fighting and all that kind of stuff, it's feeding into the propaganda of what these kids are already saying. Man, they don't care about us. So we can fight at Juneteenth. We can fight at Summerfest. We can fight because they're going to film it and put it out there. And let me digress for 1 second, because I know y'all want to jump on that. If we had Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff in the 80s, the elders would be saying the same thing we saying right now. They care about us, the Mike McGee's and the people who was in the streets helping, and, including some of our uncles and aunties and, you know, big brothers and them. They'd be like, man, them niggas crazy, because we was doing some of the same shit, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't publicized like it is right now through social media. And that's what I'm going to put a period at.
Okay, so to that, I do agree that the family structure, and I was going to talk about the fact that family reunions, the occurrences of family reunions have subsided now. They're down to 40, we're down 47%. So really black families ain't family reunion and like we used to, because big mama, great great grandmama, that kind of thing, that whole everybody from down south, everybody, yeah, we all grew up right here on Clark. Why we need a reunion? Everybody just come over on Saturday, right? But I want to say we say there's no males, and that is a fact. We know that the male role models are gone, but there are several male role models in the community. The young boys don't want them per se, and then to say they don't care about us. I worked with a lot of kids for a long time, right? In a lot of different platforms, from MPS to Boys and Girls Club to MATC to Wrap Around Milwaukee, College Possible, special education. I've worked with all these kids, and a lot of them, when you talk to them and you get to know their families, they have people there who are saying, hey, no, you got to stop this, man. We love you. We don't want you to get in trouble. We want you to stop this. And still, he or she is just gone. And I've worked with several families, like, go to their house. I'm like, their house better than mine. They driving Benz. They're like, I've been here. I put him in this school. He got kicked out of this school. He get kicked out of that school. He just won't act right. And it's like, it's a mentality for these kids. And then, like we say, when they get caught, then it's like they're sad. Like, oh, well, nobody loved me. And nobody, that sounds sometimes to me like a cop out. Like you just wasn't listening, young dude. For whatever reason, you was distracted. Now, Kamar, I wanted to give you a chance to respond to what my brother said too, because I got another question I wanted to ask him about.
Yeah, I agree with everything, all of it, what he said. Even in the text, you know what I'm saying? I was in the chat room. Agree with all of it. I feel like it's a lot that goes into it. Like he said, it's a lot. So it's a lot that got to go into fixing these problems. One of them, I always say, nutrition is the beginning. Mm-hmm. The brain needs certain minerals just like every other organ. So if we keep feeding our kids to not get minerals, or feeding our kids food that don't give them minerals, you know what I'm saying? It's only gonna get worse.
Word. I'm in total agreement with that, and what you said as well, brother. I just feel like this is my thought process on that. We got the cats that like to be tough, the gangster kind. We got the cats that like the cars. We got the cats that like motorcycles. We got the cats that love fashion. We got the cats that want to be D-boys. We have to send out the people to fit the criteria within itself. I can't go talk to the guys about cars, and I got a bunch of them, but I can't tell you about. I'm 54 now. I just learned how to change the brakes on my car. You know why? Because I paid cats to do it back in the day. Right. You get what I'm saying? But I have cousins that's my age that been in the streets, been shot or whatever, that work on cars, that deal with cars, that buy and sell cars, that can talk to these young dudes in that area. I was a gang member. I pimped. I sold drugs, so I can talk to those guys. You get what I'm saying? I think when you say it's a bunch of role models out here, I think they are put in the wrong places and they're doing the wrong things. These organizations here in Milwaukee, and I'm not going to get on that, but I'm going to touch on it. These organizations in Milwaukee, they're not doing for us. They're doing it for promo. It's the picture, the photo ops with the mayor and the police and letting people know that we over here kind of thing. Whereas a lot of times they're not even touching these little boys and these little girls that actually need the help. And it's a lot of them I'm talking about. So when you say we got a lot of men out there, we got a lot of men in silos. There's not a lot of men that's connected with everybody to try to get everybody out to help do certain things. You get what I'm saying? And that's just kind of me from 15 years of experience working in these streets. You get what I'm saying? And I'm don't want this to sound like I'm calling and being disgruntled, or I'm talking down on people who trying to do the work or whatever. I'm just saying we need the right people in there from the top all the way to the bottom to get the work really done. Because if you look at the census right now on crime in Milwaukee, on violence in Milwaukee, it has risen. It has risen. So that must mean somebody, if you got 100 different organizations, where they at? What they doing?
Kamar, you want to jump in here?
Yeah. Hey, on that. You know what I'm saying? What he said goes along with what I say all the time too. You know, for one, we got to be fearless in what we teach first, and then also we have to live what we teach. Cause see, it's too many people out here that's teaching shit that they ain't living. You know what I mean? And kids don't respect that. It's a problem.
That's right.
With people not, it's a problem with people not being 100. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the same way. You ain't finna teach me shit if you ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to hear it. But then also, you know, we also have to continue to be the good people and continue to work on to be better men. I'm saying, you know what I mean? So they could see what that look like also. You know what I mean? Because they don't know it if they don't see it. We was just talking about no role models being in the households or being in the families like that. And, you know, a lot of the role models that they do have are just like the ones I was just talking about that teach shit that don't do the shit. They just going to tell them don't do this or don't do that, but ain't no option. You know, we got to be willing to be there for a lot of these young brothers. You know what I'm saying? That may be looking for a right way out. It's a bunch of us that's doing different in different areas, doing different work. You know what I mean? Some of us got car dealerships. Some of us work with the health like I do. You know what I'm saying? It's just different stuff. I got a homie who do roofing. I got a homie who work on cars. I got, you know what I'm saying? So if these little brothers need to learn something, what they need to learn is how to sustain themselves, how to make money. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one of the problems right there also. You know what I'm saying? They doing this because of poverty, the lack of.
So I don't, what I look at too is, just to be honest, I came from a good neighborhood. I came from a good family with two parents. My daddy was super daddy. My mom was super strong. I had plenty of role models. I made decisions. My involvement in anything streetwise was a decision that I made. Knew what was upset. I'm still riding with this shit. I did my little gang thing. I did my little drug dealer thing. It wasn't because I didn't know. It wasn't because I felt like nobody cared about me. It's because I said, this is the shit I'm on right now. And I know that there's a lot of kids out here who are doing, they're making decisions. There are a lot of variables. There's a lot of variables with me. I mean, shit, we wasn't the Huxtables. It might look like it. We wasn't. I seen some shit I shouldn't have seen growing up, but I'm saying I knew right from wrong. I had a bunch of homies like that. We made decisions like, nah, man, this the shit right here that we own. The second part to that is the reason I say is role models is because I coached high school football for about 13 years. And we was at Washington, we was at Madison, we were at Obama, and we worked with all these young men. And a lot of them come back now and it's Coach Barnes, man, y'all was the best coaches. Y'all was real role models for us. Some of them still didn't want to hear what we had to say. I remember we went to Washington. The first year we had to kick half the team off before the season started. Them brothers was not trying to buy into nothing. And we said, hey, man, no, we want to get you an opportunity, man. They was looking at us like, psh, nigga, what? So we like, nah, man, you can't play for us. You have to go ahead about your business. So I'm saying, and I taught school with a lot of brothers who was good role models. They wasn't punks just because they had degrees or they was educated or they wasn't selling dope. He should still be able to say, hey, man, that's a bad decision. And I think that's where we come from in critiquing what's done because, yeah, we might have done it, but we also know how it ended up. So it's our duty to go to them and say, that's not going to end like you wanted to, man. That's not a good path to take because you realize what happened with the lifestyle you chose, right? Whether you went to jail, got shot, whatever. You say, nah, man, shit, what ended up happening to me was, and if he don't listen, then what can you do with him? What can you do for him? Except for say, man, go ahead. You'll figure it out when they lock your ass up. I don't want to be callous about it, but we always say that. If you're dysfunctional in the community and you're counterproductive, you need to be removed from the community. If you're making little kids in danger just because of you, I don't care how old you are, you should be removed. If old people who work 40 years and pay for their homes feel uncomfortable in their homes and unsafe because of your behavior, you need to be removed. And whether that's incarceration or relocation or gentrification.
I get it.
I'm pissed black people off tonight, Kamar.
I get it though. I get it what you're saying, but hear me when I say this. Rabila amazira wahawalini amin wahala tuku nela slesha tuna akukula. Did you understand what I just said?
Not a single solitary word.
Okay, I was speaking in Arabic, and I can say it
I
in
know
English.
that. I know that.
But listen, that's the language we're talking to some of these young kids.
Okay.
They can be in good homes. Listen, I got a 13-year-old right now in the house. She the last of the last ones. She don't want to cook, don't want to clean, don't want to do nothing but sit on that phone in her room all day long. But she got great opportunity because I'm in the community working with children.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I'm only using that example not to say nothing negative about her, but it's up to the parenting as well. Get your butt up and we finna go take a walk. We finna ride these bikes. You finna go to this over here with me and listen to some of these women tell their stories or whatever the case may be, so you got some understanding and you away from Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat for a couple hours. You get what I'm saying? So you can come from a good home and the parents doing whatever and y'all ride nice and you looking nice and all of that, but that's not what influences you. What influences you is dude that you go down to the hood who don't have none of that, who don't have no good parents, who don't have no good clothes. He's wearing your clothes actually, and you're making decisions because you're not even a leader. You're a follower.
That's why what you said earlier rings so true, because my biggest influence was my father. So I never met no homeboy in the hood who had a greater influence over me than my father. Right? Like my father, I could get in trouble, right? But I still had more. It was certain stuff I didn't do because I wasn't fucking with dude like that. I was just like, I wasn't. I was tough in the street, but with him, nah, I wasn't finna rock with dude like that. You right on that one. That brings that together for me.
We are a lot of the time we are speaking a different language to these kids because, like I said, we talking about stuff they don't know. You know what I mean? They don't understand that they can change the trajectory of their life by the decisions that they make.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They don't understand that. They just think stuff is the way it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No doubt.
And when you thinking like that, you know what I'm saying? You ain't even understanding that really is you making decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I was hustling, I'm running around, I was just thinking the shit is like it is. Shit, I thought everybody stayed in dope houses and sold dope. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Shit, everybody smoke weed, nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I thought. You know what I mean? How I figured life was at that point.
Okay.
It was a part of me that understood different. You know what I'm saying? But the way life was going at that point, that's what my mindset was. So, like, we got to figure out how to get these kids to think different. Because, see, that's where it all starts. Everything begins with a thought. If you can't see yourself doing something different, you would never do nothing different. So you got to first see yourself doing something different before you can actually even work to do it.
I thought that the language he spoke was interesting, but I will say I've worked in intensive case management, so I'm trained to do it. So I do this thing with young men, especially when I worked with adjudicated teenage felons in the focus program at St. Charles. We talk turkey. I'm not gonna bombard you with a whole bunch of philosophical mindsets. We're gonna talk about your jacket. I'm looking in your folder. I'm knowing that you're diagnosed special education in school. I know you're 17 with seventh grade credits. I know your mom has a drug problem. I know all of this stuff. So when you sat in my office, I didn't speak a different language. And I know y'all gonna say everybody ain't you, Kev, because I always get hit with that. But there's a lot of brothers who kind of go along the same principles. We talk turkey with them, like, man, I know it's tough, right? Yeah, man, my family, and they will open up. Oh, man, you know, my father, my uncles, my brother, but then that's when you got them broken down and you can just sprinkle them like, look, check this out, though. Guess who can change all that? You. How can I do that? Man, then you lay it out for them. So I don't know that it's a different language. I know life, once you left my session and went back to your neighborhood, life is life, right? It's like,
well, it was a different language until you enlightened them.
Sometimes they still went to prison after that. A lot of them went and did football numbers, murder, everything after that.
A lot of us went to prison after that, but we later.
Some of them niggas still in prison.
I did 16 years.
Woo!
And I had role models. My grandfather was a role model. Some of my uncles were role models. You know what I'm saying? So Mr. Harris was the mailman, and Mr. Camry, that owner of the Black Holocaust, that was the owner of the Black Holocaust Museum, was 4 doors down. I can go on and on. We have police officers and all that in the community. So I made them decisions on my own, and I made some bad decisions.
That's what I said. Yeah, we
when
still made right.
And see, Kev, when I say a different language, I'm just talking about a whole different mindset, really. Because if your mindset ain't thinking like that, you won't understand it. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I'm just out here busting moves with my homies and shit, doing it like we do it, like we've been doing it for years, you know what I'm saying? I really ain't understanding that I'm really making a decision to do this.
Yeah, that's what I said. These kids are making decisions.
I know they are. That's what I'm saying. They don't understand that everything is a decision that's taking them a certain way. You going this route or you going that route. They just ain't understanding, or they don't have me greasy one.
Let me catch the chat room because we backlogged. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in. It's Outlaw Radio live on a Monday evening. We got my brother Ja Forte in the chat room. I'm sorry, he's actually on the line in 3D. I said in the chat room. Earl said, kids, stop disappointing your family. He said stimulus checks, people calm down when they got money in their pocket. He said, give them stimulus checks. Ace Cooley said it ain't no reasoning for this bullshit. It's just little mofos done got some size and they trying to test they might. Never did understand that, or a motherfucker gets mad because someone done looked at somebody crazy. Let's not even forget the girl factor. Shout out to Leah Weber. How you doing, my sister? Thank you for tuning in. She said kids aren't kids anymore. Cuzzo Mariah Johnson, she said these young men feel you can't tell them nothing. Their family tired of talking to them as well. You're right. Half of the kids come from great homes. They want to live the music they're listening to. Okay, that's another point. DeVille Willis out in Las Vegas, man. What's going on, DeVille? He said Outlaws. Atlas Burns in the chat room. What up, family? What's up, family? He said these kids are deciding to do this shit. It ain't that a father ain't there. A lot of these kids have a family that care and a father that care, but they decide to live that way. My kid flipped the U-Haul. He said, I've been there from day one. AAU, track, art, music. They're going to be having podcasts about the kids. Then they get our age and be disgusted with the youth when they get big. It's fucked up, though. He said, it's fucked up, though. Shout out to Atlas Burns, man. What up, though? How you doing, man?
What up, though? What up, though?
Yes, sir. I mean, you know, it's unique. And this is like, shout out to Sean Moore. I need to reach out to Sean because I don't know. Was that today? That event was today, right?
I don't know.
I thought it was today.
If it was.
I thought it was today. But I know that I wanted to see how his event went. They said that black men was gonna get together and lock up in arms.
I was saying, remind me. I knew I was going. I'll forget about everything, man.
But even in that, like I said, it's hard sometimes. And I heard my brother Forte say how the silos. And see, I've worked in social services and nonprofits for like 20 years, and there's silos because this group is specifically because this is what this grant is written for, and it's aimed at this group. Meanwhile, that group is losing. But it's an imperfect science like anything else, right? Like where you try to help over here, you plug one leak and another one pops up. So I hear a lot of people hard on, you know, social services, but I know a lot of social service professionals who work hard, myself included. But I do understand how some of this stuff can be a money grab because usually the administrators of these programs be white people that ain't even from our community. And then when the grant is gone, they gone. So we know that. But the city is a city of silos, and it gets kind of frustrating when you out here trying to do the work and it's just this group, that group, this group, and this group don't like you. They don't agree with you because of that. And it just kind of stymies your production. That's why I stepped all the way back from grassroots organizing like, man, no, I'm cool, man. I'll just like Kamar say, stay in your lane, find your lane and just stay in it. Don't try to go out. It's hard, man. So my brother, I know you work in that sector, so I know you got an opinion on that. I heard you, and you can speak freely if you want to. It ain't like nothing gonna happen, but I'm just saying, speak to that because we question what 414 Life is doing. We've questioned. You remember we was on here with Reggie Moore and like 30 people one time. So we've questioned like, what are these programs doing? So what's your opinion of how all these different groups and all these different outlets that are supposed to be for these kids, but it's getting worse and worse?
So I can answer that, but let me start here. Me and Sean Moore started working in the streets without any funding at all.
Okay.
We wasn't getting funded. We was funding ourselves, right? And we organized a lot of people in the city of Milwaukee that we thought would actually join us and make a change because that was the focus, to make a change. It wasn't even about $1, right? But then we began to realize that we have families that we need to take care of too. So the work that we're doing, we need to get funded because there's organizations that's getting funded and they're nowhere to be found in the city while we are getting shot at, and getting swung on, getting people getting stabbed, all different kinds of things. So we ended up coming up with the Coalition for Justice, and the Coalition for Justice is when Dontre Hamilton got killed. So me and Sean, and we pulled Khalil in, we pulled Vaughn in, a few other people we pulled in, and we started working together where the egos, kind of the same thing, you know, with the Black Panthers and, you know, the Black Keystones and the Tupos and the egos, right? All of the egos got in the way to where it began to diminish what we really trying to do. So for me, the door was opening for me to go into something different, and I was going to do something for myself, an organization of my own, I should say. And 414, they asked me if I would come over there and help. So I said, yeah, but let's talk money now too, though. So I started working with 414 Life, and I worked with them for about 9 years. And to be perfectly honest, only thing I learned out of that was that you travel in the world, you're learning different models, because there's a cure violence model. There's different models in different cities. You know, California, New York, Chicago, different models. I learned those models and came back to Milwaukee. They don't apply to Milwaukee because Milwaukee is completely different than Chicago, New York, or Miami or California. So when I began to try to apply what I knew from a gang culture, from a single parent home, all of these different things, being shot, going to jail, all of that kind of stuff, the powers that be didn't want that. So what I can tell you as far as what 414 Life doing right now, I have no clue. But the people that I talked to that's part of 414 Life feel the same way I did some years ago. They're all ready to walk away. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I just say those good guys, Sean and, you know, all y'all too, what y'all doing, and other people around the town that's doing something, we all need to sit down and have a real conversation and bring health and bring social services and I have a trucking company, and you know what I'm saying? We need to bring all of that to the table and see what we can do as a unit, you know, Kwabena and G and all of them, and Muhib and all of this, you know, the Nation of Islam or whatever, whoever our connection is, bring all of them to the table and then try to build and make something really shake in the city of Milwaukee, because it hasn't. So if Sean was talking about men locking arms, I never received the text or the call about that. Because
I should have. I mean, he hit us last. Come on, we was on last Wednesday, right? Wednesday evening, and we were saying why you just didn't call in like you normally would do. We was kind of trying to guess, just supposing what. Okay, so he said, this is what it said. I'm not violating him, by the way, by reading the text. Right? So be like, damn, you reading people text. It says, this Monday, July 7th at 11:30 a.m. at City Hall Rotunda, we're bringing together men from every corner of the city of Milwaukee, from the streets to City Hall, to honor Officer Corder and take a stand as men who care, protect, and lead. This ain't about politics, praise, or programs. It's about presence. It's about each one of us pledging to step up, share info, and check on each other and stop the cycle before it starts. We'll be exchanging numbers, signing the pledge, and locking arms as brothers. I want you there. Let me know if I can count on you. And so that's why it was today. I thought, so maybe he canceled or maybe he rescheduled. I don't know.
But you said the 11th though.
No, I said the 7th.
Oh, the 7th. Yeah,
that's today. I thought I don't usually mess up that bad. Hold on.
And you know what? I got to say a million pardons to Sean, because somebody did call me and tell me about it. They did. Somebody did call. I just be busy in my own little world. I didn't get. So yeah. I'm gonna call and apologize for not showing up, because even if I don't show up, I send 10 representatives of me there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna make sure I call and let him know that. But to answer your question, as a whole, I think there's no one solution with these organizations. I think there's no one solution. I think all of these organizations can help if you got the right people in the organizations, and the right people that run the organizations, and the right people that's funding the organizations. So you know that from the top all the way to the bottom, I said this earlier, that we are doing this for our people and not just a paycheck or not just clout or any of that kind of stuff. So that's my...
I'm probably part of the problem in that regard, because I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't want to sit down with all these dudes. I really don't. I don't want to sit in a room full of black dudes and listen to everybody's spiel, listen to everybody's speech, listen to everybody's testimony. Personally, for me, is it right? Maybe not, right? I can admit where I'm right and I can admit where I'm wrong. I've done it so many times in so many different places where I've gone to things, brothers, we get together, we're gonna talk about these problems, we're gonna table everything, we're gonna put, and really we leave there with no solution and no agenda, because it really turns into a professional speech contest. And it's just like every brother got to stand up and be the coldest one and have the quotables and all that. And so, and I'm probably generalizing. Look, once again, if I'm wrong here, I'm wrong. Right? It's okay to be wrong.
No, this how you feel. This how you think. This is what you've been through. You're not wrong at all.
So I'm just like, it's, to me, it appears like, I'm like, it's just such a waste of time. It's cool for me to see, brother. Hey, what's up, Kev? What up, man? What's happening, man? Hey, man, what's up? Yeah, ooh, Kev. Yeah, we know Kev. But Kev don't want to be a part of no group that don't get nothing done, because we wasting time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, okay, so once again, I've dealt with the city, and like you said, I've been in social services. I know that there's cliques, there are groups, and I ain't shitting on nobody, because, you know, if that's how y'all get down, if you say, look, man, we're going to trim the fat and we're going to keep it efficient and just have a small think tank, you can do that, but still be able to collaborate with others. But we just don't play together well. A lot of us, man. Like you said, them egos, man. My guy Mike used to always tell me, man, after he moved from Milwaukee, he said the biggest problem with Milwaukee is everybody wants to be the tallest midget. I used to be like, damn, that's fucked up, Mike, because how you think about the city.
That's a hell of an oxymoron. But yeah, I feel you.
Right. So, you know, shout out to them. And I got to call Sean too, because I got to say, man, I didn't lie to him. Say, I'll be there. I'm not really out like that nowadays. You don't see me at events like that. If one of my brothers who I rock with call me and say, Kev, I need you to come do this with me, I'm gonna come. But I ain't just hooking my trailer to everybody. I'm like, nah, I'm cool, man. Y'all go ahead and handle that shit. So
let me interject before you go any further, Kev. This is what I say to that, because Quabba and I feel the same way. You feel the same way. My man Raymond Dozer feel the same way. I've heard Sean say that, where he feel like that. It's a bunch of people feel exactly the way you feel. Okay. But if we all feeling like that, how we gonna get this shit done?
Right.
That means we need to select the people who we know ain't gonna just come to the table to talk. The people that's gonna come to the table that's gonna talk and have solution minded at the table before we invite everybody else.
Yeah, but then the people who don't get invited may have some connections that could benefit, and then now they mad, so they're gonna go form another group, or they're gonna get with the other dudes who wasn't together, and they're gonna do that. So now you still got two different factors and factions, and those two still can't come together and say, all right, y'all love. It's like the Panthers and the Us organization. Like, they couldn't coexist, right? So you end up with Bunchy Carter, and you end up with that massacre in LA at UCLA, right?
Right.
And then Karanga created Kwanzaa. I had to throw that in. My bad, y'all. I shouldn't do that. Kamar told me don't do that.
No, but that's real. That's real, though.
No, it's a joke. We always be fucking around around Kwanzaa, because I be talking shit about Karanga.
Oh, you said something about Kwanzaa? Oh, I didn't hear that.
I said after that he created Kwanzaa. I said no, after that.
Oh, dang.
Then he created Kwanzaa. After they didn't kill the brothers. No, I shouldn't have said that. That's
right.
But no, I'm just, look, no, I'm shout out to all them brothers, man. I don't dislike nobody, but I've just been in enough of these settings where I've seen where, you know, you hear a brother get up, he say something powerful. It's like, okay, that was dope. Do we have an agenda? There's really no agenda. Well, I'm gonna bring up so and so. Now he gonna talk to y'all. Unless that individual has a business. Look, I got this professional moving company, and I'd like to give all y'all my card. Like, bro, you selling some shit. We here to try to establish a direction, man. So love to everybody, man. It take all of us, you know what I'm saying? But Milwaukee can the scene here can be very, very frustrating, especially looking at the fact that you can go out and crusade as hard as you want to, and then you turn on the news, and what do you see at Summerfest? What are you about to see at State Fair? What do you see? And thank God Juneteenth was error-free this year, right? From all I heard,
it was as a matter of fact, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Okay,
I want to put that out in the universe. It was beautiful down there. I seen a bunch of beautiful people smiling. I seen people, you know, like the booths was set up. It was everything. The food, it was amazing. And I was there till everybody left, and then I let my tent down, and I stayed another hour or two. And there was no shooting, no drama, none of that stuff. They didn't say that on the news. But I want to say this because y'all the news to me.
I didn't report that. And you know, once again, I think that's beautiful. And but so we talk consequences. So now next year, when they say if you under 21, you can't get in. If they say if you are under 21, you got to come with a parent. Right now they start excluding our kids, because somebody talked about, I seen online where they talked about Greek Fest. And Greek Fest, I remember, I'm old enough to remember when it used to be out here on the Northwest side, adjacent to where I live. For years, we came out here for Greek Fest. Around the time about 2001, 2000, early 2000, we came out here. Our youngsters, our babies, went to acting a fool. It's been on the lakefront ever since. And I drive past there every day, and I'm like, man, I remember we used to come out here looking for the little girls, man, driving in 5, 6 deep in the cars. Nah, it's gone. So they start excluding us from things, and then they start shutting things down and taking things away from us. And then we say, well, our kids don't have nowhere to go. You realize you got playgrounds now where they've taken the hoops down? You remember when we was young, you went to the playground. Hoopers didn't play AAU. They played warning. They balled on the concrete. They ain't, the average playground now ain't no hoops on the backboards. So that's all because of the behavior. It's all because of what we do, man. So it's frustrating.
But just imagine this. This is a hypothetical. Just imagine all of us that we just named, plus another 100 more that was all down there at the Summerfest. Do you think them kids would have acted fool like that?
I think they may have. I don't. When they 30, 40 deep like that, I think they going. They going. I don't know that we could have intervened, bro. I'm not what I once was physically, so it ain't like I'm wrestling nobody. I'd be from the sideline talking about, hey, y'all cut that out.
and that works though. Okay. I'm just saying. I say that to say that one Juneteenth that they did the shooting up there, we was there working. We was working the ground, right? You know what I'm saying? And when we moved in a group, them young dudes, they moved around. They moved around, or they gravitated towards us to see what we had going on. So now we can say, take this card or take this flyer or give us the call, take my number, like those kind of things. And I'm saying that to simply say that I truly believe when we go into them type of environments and they see a bunch of grown men, a bunch of grown, strong men and women, they don't act the fool like that. And if they do, then we can get that shit stopped immediately. Maybe some that don't want to get in that, but it's some of us that really jump right in that and squash that shit right away. No, come on, we breaking this up. We snatching some cats up. You grab them 2, 3 right there. We doing that kind of work. And that's the stuff that needs to be done. So if we all come up with the mentality that, man, we ain't finna get involved with them young niggas, man. One of them young niggas hit me. We thinking like that, then it's gonna keep escalating to now they shooting at Summerfest ground. Now they shooting at you know what I'm saying? Because one of them didn't feel like he got his lick back because 5 of them jumped on him. Now if we can go talk to that one that got jumped on and the ones that jumped on him, we could possibly stop what can happen next week.
What about removal? What about incarcerating these dudes? Because the mandatory minimums are about to go up. You heard the mayor with his latest anti-crime initiative, which he proposes one every year, but none of them never really come to fruition. But in the latest one, he said he's working with the district attorney where there's going to be new mandatory minimums on stolen cars. And so cats will be getting time. And I can't disagree with some of these little, knucklehead cats going away to do some time with some of their behavior. Do you think that's justified, or you think, like some people say, no, okay, we shouldn't be locking them up? That ain't cool.
No, I'm definitely not gonna say that. Okay. I got mixed emotions, but what I will say though, Kev, is if you out here and you shooting into a crowd of babies and women and that kind of stuff, take his ass to jail. He deserves to go to jail. Right. You know what I'm saying? But if we're talking about people who just get into fights and they're making some minor mistakes, I don't think that they need to go to prison. They just need some good mentors.
Yeah, I don't think them kids who was fighting should go to prison. I'm not saying send them to Waupun. You fighting at Summerfest. I'm just saying ultimately with their behaviors, because it's a lot of young perpetrators. Like you see these shootings and it's a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old, and people like, nah, he's a kid. He didn't have this, he didn't have that. I'm like, nah, lock his ass up. Don't free him. No T-shirt for him. Lock his ass up. I'm sorry. So, and people say we kind of harsh with our opinion on there. So I just wanted to get your take on it.
No, I'm in agreement too. Lock his ass up. You know what I'm saying? Because that could be my little cousin or your son or daughter, somebody who innocently got hurt because we let this buffoon, stay out here because we don't want him to go to jail. No, I'm in agreement with that. Okay. But again, I feel as though if we get out here and mass numbers all over the city of Milwaukee, pushing different things of positivity, I think we can help a whole lot of. We're not going to be able to save everybody. That's something that I learned working with 414 Life too, because I was trying to save every child I could. You know what I'm saying? Some of these children, like y'all said earlier, they don't want to be helped. They don't want to be saved. They just gonna do what they gonna do, and there's nothing that we can do about it. So that means they're gonna die or they're gonna go to jail. And I hate to. That's the harsh truth. But then there's 15 other people around that one that we can get to. So let's get to them. You know what I'm saying? And that's my thought process on that.
Okay.
Hey, I'm with y'all with the minor infractions. You know what I'm saying? But when you hurting people, putting people's lives in jeopardy and shit like that, I feel like they need to be locked up too. You know what I'm saying? For one, like I say, they destructive to the community. They taking us backwards while we trying to go forward. And then also it give them a chance to go sit down and think about the shit they doing. Do they really want to continue this route? You know, I know a lot of brothers that changed their life up going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not the first, second, or third time, but eventually they sat in there, you know what I'm saying, and thought about shit and put some shit in perspective. You know, so that's why I'm in total agreement with this shit, man. Like sometimes these little brothers or sisters, they, you know what I mean, like we was just talking about how they fighting a lot too and getting destructive as a motherfucker also. But sometimes, you know what I mean, you gotta sit down and go think about your actions.
Yeah, man. Them old folks I was raised by, you say, I turned it over to the Lord. You keep getting in trouble. They say, I done turned my grandbaby over to the Lord. I don't know what to do for him. I'm just gonna pray for him. They got to bump their head, man. But you know, it's sad.
Sometimes life got to teach some people.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. You can't teach an empty seat.
I'm in total agreement with y'all saying. I just know for a fact that I don't want them Caucasians to be the ones to be the head of, you know, what happens to our children, because if it's up to them, they want to lock them all up, send them all away. You know what I'm saying? And all of them don't need to go away. Some of them really do need mental health, a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Some of them really do need to go to the gym and run around and get some of that anxiety up out of them, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
so they need to bring recess to high school.
I agree. I feel like they ought to put therapists in prisons too, like that, and make that type shit mandatory, man.
They don't have them?
Not like at all.
I didn't know that. I thought they had therapists.
No, they don't have therapists. Your therapy is what you do. That's why you have a bunch of people in prison and they come home with the same mentality, because all they did was play spades or, you know, walk the track, play dominoes, you know, that kind of stuff the whole time. They don't sit down and finish to get their GED. They don't do no reading, none of that kind of stuff. It's just time away from family to have fun with the other guys that you knew that was in the streets, because most of the time when they start locking everybody up, they lock everybody up around the same time.
Man, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, so now all y'all in there playing games, playing basketball all day. You know what I'm saying? Lifting weights all day, and your outer exterior is getting really big, and you're looking really nice, but mentally you still that 13-year-old or that 15-year-old that went into prison. There's no real help.
So there, you know what? Because we even at St. Charles, we did didactic groups. Like I used to do didactic groups with the kids. We had therapists to come in. We had wrap around where you assign family therapists. So my dumb ass is thinking, if you're in prison, you could, like, they would say, hey, do you want to talk? I don't know why I thought this, y'all. I've never been to prison, so how would I know? But I thought that they would give you an opportunity to go and talk with someone, like group therapy or restorative justice or something like that. I didn't know that
they do. If you, I had to go to drug counseling because I got caught with drugs, right?
Okay.
So I had to do that. You know, so if you were a sex offender, you got to go to sex fit classes. You know, those kind of things. If you are a violent criminal, you might have to go to cognitive thinking or some stuff like that.
Right.
But that's only like a couple months, and you got 13 years.
Damn. Shit.
So you've done that. When you've done that, maybe possibly on your way in, just so it can, you know, help you get through the system. So by the time you get ready to get to a minimum, you ain't got to do that now. You know what I'm saying? So that's done and over with. But you did that 7 years ago.
Wow.
So you don't even remember how to think cognitively.
I'm enlightened. I didn't know that. Once again, because I hear people complain about, well, the conditions of the prison and how prisoners get treated. And I always be like, who cares? Throw their ass in a hole and just. But that's just me being cold and callous. But I really did think that there was some access to consistent therapy, like, or else what am I really doing for you?
No, it ain't no therapy, but it ain't no therapy, but there are different classes and different courses and shit you could take. Sometimes the judge make it mandatory for you to take certain courses before you can even get out.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Or break it down so you could have got off parole. They had to take certain programs and shit. But
Right.
No, they don't give a fuck like that about you.
I had so many family members who went to prison and they was always in a bunch of different programs. What's that?
Therapy is getting in line, getting mad. That's what they really want you to do.
Wow.
Right. That's how they do it.
You have a lot of people that go in there that was highly intelligent, and when they come home, they be like zombies. And now they can't get the meds because they don't have no insurance. That's the work I do right now. I work with Project Return, and I work with another organization as well. I work with people coming home from prison,
reentry,
helping them find jobs. Reentry, yes, helping them find jobs. The reentry program is a load of crap. Let me tell you. You know what I did with the reentry program? Upon coming home from doing all that time I did, I checked off everything that I said I did, and I did none of it. They didn't even follow up. So when it was time for me to go home, I only had one certificate, and that was a certificate I took 7 years ago on my way into the prison system, which was with the AODA program. That's the only one they checked on. The other 9, all I did was check them off and said I did it, and they let me go.
Wow. Crazy.
That's the system. That's how the system is, man. So again, do I want to throw all our young brothers and sisters in there? No, because they really not gonna get no help. Most of them is dope fiends because they doing uppers, downers, and in between. You know what I'm saying? So now they're going to jail. They're gonna really be zombies because they that storage thing and all that crap they giving them. You know what I'm saying? So they're not getting no help at all. Period.
You know,
you out here shooting and killing innocent people and stealing cars. You driving down Sherman or Capitol 100 miles an hour. You can kill yourself for somebody. People take his ass to jail. He need to go to jail. She need to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to throw away all our children. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because some of them can be rehabilitated with us out here.
Okay.
And then, let's be real too. Like, we really ain't, like you said, we ain't talking about throwing them away. You know what I mean? I want them to go sit down for a minute and think about it. Now, they also, you know what I mean, had to start making these places institutions of rehabilitation. For real though, you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna just be locking them up like that, you know what I mean? Lock their ass up type shit. Yeah. It need to be some action in there where they can get some help, man. Some working on their programming, man. They thinking.
Especially in light of the fact that they're kids. That means there should be an onus on placing that kind of programming in these facilities. That's why I said take Master Lock. But it's sold. Now it's gonna be something else. But but I was saying put a wall around it. Do your time in the middle of the city. Look out at the street, and you can't go out there. Maybe that'll give you some perspective. Like, damn, man,
it's like that Racine.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. They got a prison in the hood.
Wow, Racine. Okay.
Yeah. RCI is in the hood, but they were actually. I sat on the board with the people who actually just was talking about. Opening up the prison system out on the Brown Deer, Good Hope, is somewhere out there.
Right.
And the neighborhood didn't want it.
Right.
The neighborhood was like, nah, we don't want that over here. You know what I'm saying? So they fought. And I think they got it to a point where they was partially open, but they're not open now. They're not open because the community don't want, a bunch of murderers and, rapists and, car thieves in their neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? And that's the community. The community is saying no. So if everybody, the alderman and everybody around there say no, then it's a no-go.
Yeah, I feel like we need them jobs though in the city. Like and it's secure. I mean, I get it. I mean, but I'm just saying, like, as opposed to sending them away, you see what happened when they got sent all to Lincoln Hills and Wales, and they went up there and got abused and gassed and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, well, why not just have them within reach so mama can get there and see him every day instead of having to get on the church van to go all the way to Black River Falls or something like that.
Because now you're not making no money. because you're making money all the way around the board. If you got a prison way out there, now your people that's in this small community, they all can work at this prison system.
That's right.
Then we also can charge y'all for the food that y'all eat, and we can charge y'all for the van services to get up here. So we charging y'all for everything.
Right.
Well,
So
if you got something in the inner city, that they're not making no money off of that.
that's what's up, right? That's what I'm saying. We've talked about that prison economy. Ain't no more cows up there. Let them feel this struggle. Bring them jobs back here and watch their asses up. They're gonna be up there. Their kids gonna be shooting and fighting at Irish Fest or whatever the hell festival they have, the cow chip tossing fair or whatever it is. They're gonna be up there fighting too. Shit, poverty bring that kind of thing, man. Get them a taste of this. Why we shouldn't allow them to sustain. Like I used to go fishing in Madison, and when you get to Madison, I believe that's where the headquarters of the Department of Corrections is. And so when you're driving past that building, the parking lot is full of brand new vehicles. I'm talking about custom trucks. Some of them going fishing right after they get done. They going on Lake Mendota. They got their boats, pontoons. And I'm like, this is the DOC headquarters. This money is made off our backs, right?
Yeah, it is.
And see, that alone, you should be able to tell these youngsters that you're cattle. You know what I'm saying? Y'all really is just cattle for them. They putting their kids through UW-Madison and going to Notre Dame and Marquette. And you up there doing time. Whole town, the gas stations where people coming in to visit, hotels, restaurants, all that shit is living off your back. So maybe if we could explain it to our kids from that perspective, they would say, nah, we say boycott the prisons on Outlaw Radio. Not meaning go out there and march around with a sign. Stop doing the shit that get you put in prison. That's how you boycott prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop throwing rocks at the penitentiary. Did y'all see this footage in Philadelphia? Did anyone in Philadelphia? I guess there was a party and it went crazy. I'm talking about, see, this, I guess my point is, we talk about Milwaukee. Milwaukee's not the only city that's plagued by crime. And I love how people who don't like it here say, I'm moving somewhere else because it ain't going to be no crime like that. And then they get there and find out it's the same shit. They just call it something else, right?
You talking about with all the shooting, they was shooting shit on that porch?
Yes. Did you see that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh my goodness, man. I say 4 people died, 14 people shot in Chicago where the young rapper girl had her album release party. 14 people shot. Her boyfriend, her brother, and her sister or somebody else in her family, like almost her whole family got killed at the party. Her brother, her boyfriend. I'm like, dude, all over this country, we got this problem with our youth. Like, what the hell, man?
So access to bear arms now is so easy. If you can remember, I know both of y'all can remember because we know right around the same ages. When we used to get into stuff, it may have been 1 or 2 people that had real access to guns.
That's right, a 38.
We didn't, you know what I'm saying? A 38, you know what I'm saying? Somebody had 22 or some stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right now, it's a plague in all inner cities, not just Milwaukee, because I've been doing the studies and talking to some of my brothers in New York, some of my brothers in Cali, and some of my brothers in Chicago that do this work, this secure violence work. They got this gun called a ghost gun, and they order the parts. They order the parts from different stores. They send them directly to your home, and they make them. Yeah. They're making switches now. You know what I'm saying? And that's not including the young people who 18, 19 years old who's never had no type of record, so they can go to the store and get a gun. So now they're carrying guns as well. So almost everybody out here, if you got 13 people out here, 11 of them got either a ghost gun or carry concealed weapon. None of them ever was taught how to control their anger, or none of them was none of that stuff. They just carrying guns, and that's why it's so volatile in all of these cities, brother. Oh, that's my take on it.
This a lost generation, because they said we was gonna be lost because of the crack epidemic, but I think to a certain degree we recovered. But is this a loss? Because these kids are going to be, number one, the level of illiteracy for them.
Oh man,
it's going to be super high. Like I tell people all the time, I went to MPS, but I feel like MPS functioned when we went to MPS. Like, you learned how to read, you learned how to write. If you had some difficulties, they put you in the basement in the special ed class, right? We had reading center, we had math center, we had all this kind of stuff where if you needed something, they supply that kind of substance for you. But a lot of us were criminals, but we could still read, right? We could still write.
Exactly.
We understood we had some minimal problem solving skills, critical thinking skills. But this is going to be a generation of youngsters who are going to be, by the time they do get out of these lockups or come from under whatever, because once you hit about 30, that whole street desire to be just on the block every day starts to subside. You're starting to move more towards real life. Like, man, I ain't really up for this shit no more. Trying to be all like Kamar saying, living in dope houses and shit all out on the corner at 25 degrees below zero. Once your ass hit 30, you like, man, hey, how many old
it's really cold out.
Man, these old ballers working in a factory for a temp service.
It's colder than it used to be.
Your ass just old.
I want you to push that number back a little bit, because I think within the first 2-3 years of me working with 414 Life, majority of the people that created violence in the city of Milwaukee, one, they weren't born and raised here in Milwaukee. I got to say that.
Okay.
Secondly, it was from 16 to 33. 16 to 33. That was the age group and where they was actually like killing and stealing cars and, you know, doing a lot of these 30-year-olds don't think like 30-year-olds. So you're talking about our era and the era before us. And maybe right after us, I'll even give it to them. Right after us. But after that, they're not the same. These 30-year-olds are really like 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
They talk like them, they dress like them, they act like them. They sit around and smoke weed with them. They go to drama with them. All that kind of stuff. The 30-year-olds that you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And it wooed me. I was like, wow, for real? Dude, that old? That just killed his girlfriend?
You heard the mayor say, 39 years old, you are too damn old to be shooting at police officers.
and that's the truth.
I just like how he said it. You are too damn old.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like you should have a career, a job, something, an entrepreneur, something.
Or maybe the city should bring some viable jobs here. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, I agree with him, but maybe you should do more in terms of economic stimulation for the community. Maybe the economic development plan that we so desperately need, we need for that to be established again. Maybe you should be busy doing that. I get it. He was too old, but he should have a career. Where? What?
I guess I completely feel different, because I've been doing this now for 2 years, and every time someone come home from prison, I get them a job.
Right.
They get a job, you know, and I'm not talking about a $10 an hour job. I'm talking $19, $20 an hour job. And the ones that want to go into trucking, I'm helping them, training them, and teaching them how to get into the trucking business. So it's shit out here.
Yeah, but they've been through the net because they're coming home from prison. So they went to prison. That's what changed. I'm talking about without going to prison. There should be something here to be prison preventive. Like, we grew up in this city when it was popping. We know we had the highest standard of living for black people in this country during the 70s. I was born in 75. It was popping. Black people, all them jobs, that industrial structure, that had a direct effect on the low levels of crime in the neighborhoods. Once crack came and them jobs left, hell yeah, it became anything goes. So I'm just saying, if you build an economic structure in the community where people can say, hey man, I don't want to go to no liberal arts college and old student loans. I want to step out here and go get a job in CNC machining at a factory in a city, somewhere near the city that I can go to and work and build myself up. They can't do that like them brothers used to do. Like that's what the old dude told me in the barbershop that time. He said, man, you know what happened to the revolution in Milwaukee from 68 to 71? I said, what? He said, A.O. Smith was hiring. Niggas went to work and got jobs. So that was out the window. So I'm just saying, sometimes the lack of opportunities can play a part in it. If you got parents who are working poor, who are working 2 and 3 jobs just to keep a roof over your head, then he or she is unable to really be there for their kid, like be at the PTA, be at school. These are turnkey kids. And so, you know, most of us are what they call it, what do they call it? Because most of the people here spend the majority of their income deprived, because most of their money goes to where they live. You pay, your rent is super high. So most of your money, like, man, I got to hit with this $1,600 this month. My check only $2,400 or $2,000. I got to go, and I got 5 kids. $400 ain't a lot of help, especially with the prices of shit. So I'm just saying, maybe he should start working on some economic development shit. I don't know. I'm just meandering, if you will.
No. It makes a lot of sense. It does. I just wanted to put out there that it is, and maybe this could be a segment on y'all show as well. Like, you know what I mean? We get some people on here that actually are helping people find jobs and have trade careers. You know what I'm saying? Because I know several people that are actually doing that. You know, Fred is doing it. He's working with an organization that you send anybody, not just people that came home from prison, but people that's looking for jobs. And there's multiple people that actually can put in tune with y'all, so that, you know what I mean, they can actually let y'all know this is what we doing to help. You know, we having job fairs over here.
I do that right now through my job. I'm a life coach. I'm an employee empowerment specialist. I work in career development. I've been a job coach at several different organizations, Hackham included. I understand workforce development. You're right. I mean, it is, if you really got to work, you can find a job, right? Like, let's be honest. Like, it's like, man, ain't nobody gonna hire me. No, it's some places here that you gonna make more than $10 an hour. So I agree with you on that. People just got to slow down sometimes, brother, and just look at, like, can I see the opportunities and take advantage of them? I feel like a lot of stuff is dedicated and allocated, but we don't take advantage of it. I know when I was working at MATC, we had the welding program, and we was begging MPS kids. I was doing gear up tours for MPS kids, and I was running the Emerging Scholars program, which is the program between MPS and MATC, in which kids who are basically have aged out of MPS could come to MATC and go to the adult high school and get their diplomas. So I was coordinating that program, and I was working with Gear Up. I used to bring tours in and take kids down to CNC machining, take them to MATC, got some everything, HVAC, everything. And we would be begging them to come. Hey, we got this free welding program, and you can get into like a job placement after that. The attendance was so low, they took it from downtown and moved it to Cudahy because we couldn't get kids to come. So it's just like, damn, we tried to work with Employ Milwaukee. All this, when I worked for Employ Milwaukee, all this career specialists, like you said, they had reentry opportunity for people, but people don't always come in and take advantage of them. So that's the sad part about it, you know. And then people say, well, they ain't doing their job over there. Well, you got to go in there to get it, right? They ain't gonna bring the fruit out to you. You got to go inside to get them. So, you know, it's like you said, variables, man. I love that you said it's a lot of variables. Any conversation you have about black people in this city gonna be complicated. It's gonna be many levels.
in the world, though, not just this city, in the world, though, because my cousins them got a podcast, and they in New York. You know, they in Queens, New York, and they having the same issue. Some of the same issue.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But it's affecting black people all around the world. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I do have to say this, though. It's awakening a lot of black people around this world, too. So the ones that was unconscious before, to eating right, to working out, to having a career, or whatever the case may be, they're waking up now. And so y'all keep doing what y'all doing. You know, me and I'm gonna say this before I get off too. Me and Ray Mendoza's gonna be on WNOV. I know on Monday, but I don't. We're gonna have 2 days. So I definitely want to get you guys to come in with us too.
I don't think WNOV likes me. I'm nonpartisan. I'm not a pub. I'm not a Democrat.
I love you though. So I love you though. So we don't let nobody tell us what we gonna do, how we gonna do it. We gonna do it.
There we go.
Know what I mean?
They don't like me, man.
Straight up. It's a lot of people that don't like me. So what? We keep moving. You know what I'm saying? Keep moving. Okay. Straight up. Yeah, but man. I want to break bread with y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? You and the witch doctor, man. I love you, brothers, man. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. I take my hat off and salute to you, brothers.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate you. Feel free to, whenever you want to come on, man, shoot me a message. I send you a link. You be on the panel. You won't just be on the phone.
Okay, word. All right, peace, God.
Peace and love, man.
Peace.
Yes, sir. For life. Hey, shout out to my brother Jai Forte. Ace Cooley, he says, y'all see them Haitians whip the shit out of the ICE unit. See, I seen that and I thought it was fake news, Kamar, so I scrolled. Now, were they actually fighting ICE in Little Haiti in New York? I didn't know it was that many Haitians.
Yeah, it was going down.
Good Lord, that's a lot of people, man. I did not know there was that many.
You know them Haitians with the shit.
I didn't know it was that many of them in New York, Kamar. Oh, yeah. I'm like, good Lord. I know ICE was like, oh, no. Trump, man, but you got to be careful, man. He mess around sending that National Guard in there, man. God, dog, man. I thought that was fake, man. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. Shout out to you, Ace. He said, as far as Chicago, I really believe the CIA has people going in wearing silicone masks that look like real black people. Notice most of their shit is happening on holidays, weekends, since when did gangsters start scheduling drive-bys? I don't know, man. The schedule is different now because the crime is different. The criminal is a little bit different. He said, shit, Kev, I feel like Milwaukee was popping until Scott Walker came in and fucked everything up. Some people might say it started with Tommy Thompson when he got rid of the welfare, but some people might say he helped with that. Mama Jenkins, how you doing? How you doing, Mama Jenkins? She said, good evening, my Outlaw family. I'm with you, KB. I'm tired of meetings. They've been brainstorming on 9th and Chamber in the basement for 30 plus years with matters of concerns. Milwaukee leadership and the system is the reason why this city is fucked up. The parenting is fucked up. The school systems have also failed by taking out programs that were designed to benefit and enrich our children's growth. Today, basic skills are not being taught in schools. It's really become a gathering place. Okay. Y'all come on in. Phone number 262-202-5131. Yeah, Mama Jenkins, there's definitely a leadership problem here. And I don't want to sound like, because we keep saying we're solution based. So then for me to say, Kamar, I don't want to sit down with a group of brothers. Some people might say, well, that's hypocritical, right? But I don't feel like it is. I feel like just like everything else, leadership has to be efficient. And I don't know if people understand what efficient means. Like if you run a business, you have to be efficient. That means you waste as little as you possibly can. You have to have a consistent schedule and you have to stick to it. You can't have all this outside wobbly, woo. It's got to be, man, that's not the procedure. It's the way I do it. This is my system. You become efficient. You figure out a shorter way to get there so you won't burn as much gas. You figure out, let me turn these lights off and turn that out so the overhead shrinks, so the bills won't be so high. I feel like leadership has to be that way as well. Yeah, and it should be done by a committee, but not by a committee of 30. So, like, we don't need to hear that many people. Like, you get distracted, like, what was we here for again? Because he talking about some whole other shit. So I just feel like, maybe if we could kind of just bring it down a notch, like will it in, like bring it in a little bit. Like, I don't need to hear from every single black neighborhood, every black faction. I know we got something to say too. All right, well, let's get you a delegate. So each person of this whatever leadership board should have, a set of responsibilities. So if you're the education guy, people with education concerns should be able to speak to you and be heard by the board. You feel what I'm saying? As opposed to bringing every educational specialist that we got in the city together. You'll never get anywhere. If it comes to, like you said, health, there should be an individual. That's your responsibility. You are our health. You are the chairman of our health committee. So if you got a health concern, call Kamar. Don't call Kevin, because that ain't what Kevin do. Because all I'm going to say is call Kamar. And then they still have a voice, as opposed to you saying, let me bring every health and wellness specialist to the meeting. We ain't never getting out that meeting, Kamar. It's going to be like, I don't even remember what the last person said or the first person said. So, yeah, we got to be more efficient with our leadership. It's sad that we're in this position. And like my brother kept saying, it's the whole country. It ain't just Milwaukee. He said, I agree with the sister. She hit us over the head. Mama Jenkins going to always tell it like a TI is, man. She normally they'll be getting at her on Facebook like, no, we got rid of your comment. He said, I feel like somebody's stealing and they just gaslighting the shit out of the north side of Milwaukee. Well, the transit system has a $10 million budget deficit. The county doesn't play with your head so much. You don't even know what their deficit is. Now, at one point it was 10, it was 20, then they had a surplus. They never tell us about these deficits until they done tamper with the property tax levy and you wondering why your house done went up. Your property taxes done went up by $7,000. Then they tell you, oh, well, we had to fix this and fix that. So Milwaukee is horrible at being transparent. Our leadership is horrible for being transparent. You don't know what's going on from one day to the next. They tell you what they want you to know. I want to, prayers to them people down in Texas, man. Over 100 people at this point, Kamar, died in this. Did you see this footage from?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Whoa. And has Trump phased out FEMA? I know he didn't want FEMA, but I heard some people say that he had removed some things, some emergency acts or something like that would have helped people and saved more lives. I don't know, because I'm not familiar with all of that. I know that there was a whole government thing with how they dealt with national disasters. And I heard him saying, I heard his regime saying they wanted to get rid of FEMA. And so now this place has been devastated, man. Over 100 deaths. And at the same time, we got another wildfire in Los Angeles. 70,000 acres. So if we don't have emergency relief, like for natural disasters, something else this dude done took out, man. Like, I can't, Kamar, I find myself sitting around a lot saying, When are the people of America gonna say, dog, enough is enough? Come on, man. It just seemed like he's just getting his way. I heard Elon Musk, and I'm not an Elon Musk fan, but I heard him today talking about Trump, some of the things that Trump has done, and he said, like, people aren't paying attention to what this dude is doing, and nobody's questioning him. That's why he said we're gonna end up people, they're gonna be looking for jobs when American people really look at what he's doing.
You know what I
implement, they're gonna be looking for jobs.
I hate how like people like him saying ain't nobody questioning him. Shit, everybody is questioning this motherfucker. Turn the TV on.
I think he was coming from a Democrat, Republican.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, and that's the point right there. They don't speak for the people.
That's a good point to make. That's the ultimate demonstration of them not speaking for the people.
You know what I'm saying? They don't speak for the people because the people is questioning this motherfucker.
Right.
The people is saying stop.
Yeah, man. And is it true that these immigrants, so since he said he was going to lighten up on the farms, this bugged me out when I heard this. Somebody out there, please let me know if this is true. So this alligator Alcatraz, right, that he's supposedly building to place these illegal immigrants in, but he said he was going to ease up on farms and restaurants, I think, or farms and another industry. But I'm hearing now that farmers will be able to bid in order to get certain prisoners, some of these people from there to go work on their farms. That's fucking slavery.
Sounds like the slave trade to me.
Somebody let me know if that's true or not, because some of this should be, democratic, because there's rhetoric everywhere, and some of it be. That's why I don't jump on a lot of it, because you got to look to see who the source is. But he should not be. This is something people should absolutely be opposed to. And I'm talking about Democrats and Republicans. I don't care what you are politically. If you're going to have a special place built that farmers can now say, hey, President, government, we need some help. All right, we'll give y'all 20 Mexicans. Is this how this shit going to go? Hey, yo, how much does it cost? How much do I got to pay? Give me 5 G's. I give you about 50 Latinos. Dude, that is some out of order shit. I'm hoping that that's not true, Kamar. I hope that's not what he's doing without, because I'm worried if he does that. Because I'm like, dude, that's straight up slavery right there. What the hell is going? Oh my goodness, man. And then I found out that, so we keep wondering about these South Africans who have been allowed to come in, even though we're getting rid of people who aren't legal. And so we talk about the American, a lot of farmers have lost their farms because Trump took away a lot of subsidies, and a lot of farmers, that's why they're mad. There's a lot of farmers who are upset, and they voted for Trump, and they were one of the first big cuts. But we found out that a lot of these South Africans have already invested with a company called Acre Trader. Acre Trader. Y'all can look this up. It's in the People's News Network. And guess who owns Acre Trade? J.D. Vance, the vice president. So they basically seized the land, are taking control of the land that's lost from farmers here, and then they're going to redistribute it. And so you find out who the main investors were. And most of the people who have been working with this company, they've been South Africans. So you're basically going to bring these South Africans in and give them farms, and Americans who had the farms that lost them just own their ass. So it's like, oh my God. Cold business, man. He does and the big beautiful bill is all the way through now. It's all the way through. Instantaneously, Milwaukee lost what we just lose, $34 million that was guaranteed to us by Biden to work on the streets and the highways. A federal allocation is gone due to the big beautiful bill. So it's in effect now. So basically, Project 2025 is in effect. It's here. It's going on. So kind of nervous time to be American, man. I don't know, man. It's looking mighty funny, Kamar. I'm feeling some kind of energy coming off the end of that couch, man. Shout out to Sharita Shaw. She said farms and tribes. Ace Cooley said, shit, one of the South Africaners done killed his goddamn wife. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, once again, how so many people have been blind to this dude and some of the ridiculousness of his policies. Like, some of it maybe is necessary because maybe the government, not maybe, but definitely the government needed to manage its spending. Absolutely. In some global some global economics, there were some situations where the United States was not necessarily winning in some of our trade agreements, right? But the United States has a tremendous need. We have a tremendous demand. So it's about the volume. So overall, we're still going to make money. The fact that we have more billionaires in this country than anywhere else on earth tells you a lot about America, right? So you didn't necessarily need to come in here and burn the whole government down. And only an old white man would be allowed to do so. You know, some of the shit Trump is doing, he's doing because he's Trump. You taking away money from healthcare and food benefits, but you're spending $45 million, $25 million on golf. Nobody's saying anything. You know, okay, because I know politicians who are career politicians are like, if I step against this dude, I'm going to lose my whole career. That's unfortunate, man. That's unfortunate because, like you said, they're not really obviously speaking for the people. So, you know, this is Ace. He said it's going to be a civil war. I hope not. I hope not. I would hope that midterms are coming up, y'all. Let's give midterms a chance. Let's see if we can affect the balance of power in terms of our representation in the Senate and Congress, in the Senate and Congress. Because other than that, civil war might be the only thing, but it'll be the haves versus the have-nots, and it will be horrible for American military forces to turn their rifles on American citizens, and then turn around and say we gonna draft y'all. You're gonna draft me and then make me fight against my fellow countrymen. Man, we should stop this dude way before the end, Kamar. Some should happen. Some action, some legislative action, some lawyer somewhere need to come out of somewhere and say, man, enough of this madness, man, because dude is straight running this goddamn country into the ground. And he just so nonchalant about it. And it's still people like, no, I love Trump. I see black people saying he the best president we ever had. I'm like, why? Why would you say that? So, but it's out there, man. Because I watch everything, man. Like I said, I've seen the minister, and I got to listen to him more closely. But the minister was saying good things about what Trump is doing. And I'm like, but he's a white nationalist, and he's obviously racist. I didn't understand how the minister wasn't really kicking his back in. I thought the minister was going to be the one to put him in his place. Ewok said a lot of people were saying Project 2025 was Democratic fear-mongering, and it's worse than people originally thought. You're right. Well, for all the people who kept hollering fear-mongering, monger this. Dion, you finally with us. You back in the middle, or you still coming back from down south?
No, I got back yesterday. No, I've been watching y'all. You know, I've just been chilling and shit. You know, that topic earlier about the kids fighting down at Summerfest, you know, I really don't. It is what it is. Shit happening all over the country. I wanted to text you when I was out of town. There's mass shootings in Indiana, Memphis, everywhere. So Milwaukee just ain't the only one. You know, it's the upheaval. But, yeah, so last week with that Supreme Court decision, basically they kind of put stifles on local federal courts.
Right.
So Trump got it. You know what I'm saying? He got it. It's, you know, like when we was talking about Project, and then, you know, it's like, it almost felt like deja vu, because I remember this being at work and a semi, and we talking about it, and you was like, well, there's going to be some provisions, and, you know, you gave us a little hope, but, you know, the Senate, so for one, the House and the Senate, he got all the Republicans with that. Ain't nobody really going against him. Like you just said, people scared, you know, that he'll down talk them to end their career. And he got the judicial, because, you know, he's the executive, then they got the legislative, and then the Supreme Court is judicial. So he ain't got them. So basically what the Supreme Court was saying, like, hey, you can't really stand in the way of his executive decisions on lower federal courts, because a lot of the lower federal courts are like, hey, you can't do that. You know, he was winning some, he was losing some.
Was it across the board, or was it for something specific? Because I thought it was like for something like illegal immigration. I don't know if it was just period. You can't put an injunction, but you're right. There was.
It was basically, like you said, it was for illegal immigration. But it's gonna refer to all of them. And like they were saying, like, say for instance, like, you know, it's not funny. You know what I'm saying? I think you know my real name. You do, so I don't have to say it. But my real name is kind of funny. You know, it's you know, black women, they make up names and stuff. So I'm out of town, you know, in St. Louis. So I'm thinking to myself, what if ICE pulled me over and my name don't sound like an American name? Because my middle name is Jabbar. So my first name is blah, blah, blah. And then they like, and even though I got the real ID and all, this is stuff that we literally as citizens got to think about. We sitting back and looking at the immigrants and laughing at them, but it's been American citizens like you and I, not people who came over here, got naturalized, but people like you and I that looked, ethnicity wise, we looked a certain type of way. Our names was like, say if your family is Muslim and they give you one of them Muslim names, and they pull you over and they like, now you got to go. Your family didn't know you got pulled over by ICE. They ain't about to immediately give you no telephone call so they can bring your birth certificate down there and all that. So it's kind of a conundrum that we in, you know what I'm saying? And it's fearful. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's not a game. And for people that was like, like you said, the people, this 2025 is fear-mongering. No, it's not. And as we've seen it, we went through it, Kev. We didn't read all 925 pages, all 1,000 pages. But we went through each chapter. We was talking about what they gonna do with healthcare. We was talking about what they was gonna do with IRA. We was talking about the everything that they was gonna do with privatizing the school system, everything. And he did it. Like it's like, I'm like you. I'm in the Powerverse. A lot of people, them dogs was down there acting ugly. A lot of people didn't think it'd be expeditiously as it has been, but he's done a lot of the playbook. So the only thing we can do as American citizens is just sit back with our hands crossed and, like you said, hope with the midterms coming. But a lot of those, and see, this is what's gonna mess people up with the tax cuts. With the big beautiful bill or whatever you want to call it, he just did. A lot of those acts are not going to kick in to pass the midterms. So you could be sitting up here telling a person, like, hey, blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh, no, it's not affecting me. And then, like a lot of people say, from each state is different. Like what we got here, we got Badger Care. Then other states, their healthcare system is different. So you might not think that you got Medicare, but it's something that's different. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's different. And then when you see that it's affecting you, then all of a sudden you like, well, what's going on?
That's on you. That's on you. If you so stupid that you didn't actually even know where your Medicare was coming from and you voted for somebody that was against it, that is your fault. You are an idiot because you should know where it comes from. So if you getting Badger Care, when you heard he was making cuts of any sort, you should have immediately said, let me look into this shit and see if you can go to the website and see if your benefits going to be affected. Because most of them had notes up there saying, due to federal regulations, you might need to call a certain number to talk to somebody about your benefits. A lot of people who got benefits got those emails. Now let me see this. Let me get to my chat room right quick, y'all. Mama Jenkins said, I think Elon Musk is gonna screw Trump right in his big fat juicy mouth. She said, I just hope it's soon before the House elections. He said he's gonna put his money in with the Democrats. Elon Musk said he also feel like the Africans, Haitians, and Caribbeans and took the side of the Hispanic migrants. Now we got the natives. FBA getting dragged by everyone. When have we not been dragged by everyone? That don't bother me. And they can say now it's because you call yourself FBA, but that make it even more petty. How you gonna get mad at me when I do what you've been doing forever? You've been claiming and building foundations up on your Haitian heritage. So now you mad at me if I say I want to establish the same kind of thing for my people and my family? Who cares? Drag on. Drag your ass down to Alligator Alcatraz. I wouldn't give a fuck. Yeah, come on, man. And because the shit about FBA ain't even nothing about hate. It ain't about being against nobody. It ain't about trying to stop anybody from progressing. It was simply, the delineation movement is simply a movement in which we, as the children and the grandchildren and the great-great-great-great-grandchildren of the children of the chattel slaves, have been mistreated and subjugated and oppressed more so than anybody else. And a lot of these people have come into this country, and this is the truth. They've come into this country and jumped on our backs and rolled off our momentum. Because if we wasn't doing what we was doing, they would have came here and got treated bad. And some of them just look like us. They're not even really us. And they enjoy the look until they say, hey, we need this. Well, I'm Haitian. No, that ain't me. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm Mexican. So any person outside our race, who even black people who don't like it, they can kiss my ass. I don't really care.
Damn, care.
No, I'm for real, because I'm tired of people trying to make it something that it's not. Right? Like, and so we've even gone as far as to say, It's fine if you are a black person and you don't identify as that. That's fine. If you say, no, Kev, I ain't with that. What you think I'm gonna do? Try to turn you out? But when you start saying, but when you start making inaccurate statements about it, oh, you followers, you're a follower of Tariq Nasheed. Oh, you don't like this, you don't like Haitians, you don't like Jamaicans. Stop it. That's what they do whenever we try to stand on our own. They twist the narrative. Oh, don't talk to them FBAs. They don't like nobody else. Ain't nobody never said that. You ain't seen one FBA bumper sticker, t-shirt, commercial, or website. It is an internal movement. It ain't got nothing to do with trying to create some organization. This ain't Black Lives Matter. I know, I ran it. My bad. Go ahead. Was you finished? I don't know. Go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't.
Okay.
I don't know, like you, that right there. I don't even know how to come behind that.
I mean, no other group likes us anyway, so we're not losing anything. It's not they think they look down on us. All of them. What group don't look down on us?
That is true.
Even Native Africans. So
that's true.
What you got to lose by identifying yourself?
Like my guy said, even some black people are prejudiced towards black people. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Black people talking about I love black people, I hate niggas. Really? That always trips me out when somebody say that. I love black people, but I hate niggas. Like, what do that mean? Can somebody on here tell me what that means?
You know that shit true. You know that shit true because that's why it's fights every motherfucking where. Niggas fight niggas every motherfucking where.
Does one side consider them? Is it blacks against niggas fight, or is it niggas versus niggas fight?
I just think niggas is prejudiced against niggas. Period. Because you know what I mean. It's always something we don't like about each other.
Hey, and when these groups see each other, they say, "Look at them niggas." Yeah. Y'all black too, and the other side saying, "Look at them niggers." Right?
Niggas prejudice against niggas, man.
That is crazy. That is many right there, y'all. Woo. Y'all something else. He said we are back where we were during Bush. Shout out to Kerry Walker Jones. How y'all doing? Please share the show. Put some respect on our name, as they say. All these people with these platforms and all these different voices on the air try to disregard Outlaw Radio. The bullshit has to stop. Put some respect on it. Share the show, please. Let people know how you feel.
I know one thing though. It's a lot of people that really don't like dudes though. For real, it is though. It's like they had a lady on there. She was identifying her. She was 87 years old. So you can imagine being 87. She had seen a lot of presidents. She was like, "This guy's worse." She's like, "I thought Reagan was bad." She was like, "This guy right here." And like you said, you know, for some reason, black people, you know, they feel like. I don't know. I don't feel like no white man is the best thing since sliced cheese. You know what I'm saying? Like I really don't. And you know, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I can't see how black people, and you know, I'm just speaking for myself because that's really how I feel when I know my history, and it ain't even about slavery. It's just about when I just look at where that European has set his foot upon the shores all over the world. That he has left nothing but destruction and desolation. You know what I'm saying? So I can't.
That's true.
I can't see me loving somebody whose nature is harmful. Now I understand everybody being, well, no, white people ain't bad. Okay, that's true, and all dogs don't bite. But like you said, they got teeth. You understand what I'm saying? Like you said, that's the main thing. Well, he got teeth, though. Okay, then they skin white. So somewhere down the line, to me, and this is my opinion, they have some bias towards African Americans. Like I swear it grinds my gears when I hear people just talk bad about Milwaukee. You know, you from West Bend or one of them little small Peckerwood towns, you know, and you don't understand that Milwaukee is your lifeline. You feel what I'm saying? You out there getting all the subsidies, the welfare, the Quest card, everything, but you think you better than us.
I think the funniest thing you said is that it grinds your gears. I usually don't hear a black person say, that grinds my gears.
It does.
That blew my noodle.
Like you sitting, it's almost like you sitting on side, you sitting in the back of someone.
Yeah, I'm picturing you. I'm picturing you arguing with a white dude in the gas station up there, and you go, "Why I oughta?"
No, but for real, it's like you sitting back and you hearing somebody just talk bad about you, and you, the person that they talking bad about, but they don't know that's you.
Right.
And that's how I be feeling when I hear people talk about Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? Or any major city. Because if that's the case, if Chicago's so bad and it's almost a city of 5 million people, why everybody in there? Or if Memphis so bad, why everybody in there? Why people love to go there? That's their destination. Nashville, Detroit, everywhere there's a major city. Why y'all want to come here? This is where the sports team's at. Don't come to no Milwaukee Bucks game. Don't come to the Milwaukee Brewers. Stay up there with Green Bay and the Chinooks and Oshkosh and all them other weird-ass off-brand teams. Don't come here. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all make it just seem like, oh, it's just crime-ridden, this crime-filled. But maybe if y'all knew the history, maybe if y'all knew the history behind it. Like this shit, like, man, listen, like when I went to St. Louis is set up like Milwaukee.
Right.
Like you got North St. Louis, you got St. Louis County. Well, I was staying in St. Louis County. Man, I swear before God, I walked up in a place to get some barbecue calves, and when I say I walked up in it was like Mayberry, it wasn't a Mexican in there, a nigga, nobody. I wanted to turn around and say, well, I don't feel comfortable here because I don't see nobody look like me. But I was over the threshold. But the people got quiet, and I was like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? But North St. Louis is where they victimized it. They impoverished it, you know, and you look at it, and you be like, God damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, this was worse than Milwaukee. And, you know, when you go everywhere, we all, man, I swear to God, it just hurt my heart. And that's why I ain't going to say nothing about it because I know you a person of faith, but it just hurt my heart when I go places, man, and we all are suffering from the same thing. We suffer from joblessness. We suffer from poverty. We suffer from violence. We suffer from drug uses. We suffer from all this. Everybody that look like me and you. And the only difference that separates us is I live in Wisconsin, you live in Missouri. But other than that, ain't no difference. We all victims. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we all victims. And I swear, man, it hurts me, man, to know that we as people, we suffering and we enduring so much. And these people, and like you say, our youth too, I hate that. Why you want to kill somebody that look like you? And now like, I be watching them prison videos. They in there just as violent as they is on the street. The only difference, they ain't got no guns. They got knives as big as me and you. So y'all perpetuate the violence on the street, go in prison and still perpetuate violence. Like, when is this going to end? It's just people that look like me and you. And then not only that, we battering ourselves, and you go on TV, oh, there was another shooting down here. They did this. I ain't heard nothing about the shooting and what was that, Shorewood I texted you that morning?
Oh no, we talked about the cop. I mean, that was another cop being shot. Another cop. 6 police officers have been murdered since 2018. So yeah, we talked about that. And that seemed like a crash out of some sort. I think there was a domestic situation with that, and I don't know. So if this person, I heard a young sister lost her life. So if it's your family, please forgive me. I don't know. It sounded like a domestic situation where she was killed and somebody else was shot, and then he shot at the police and then tried to run, and then they ultimately killed him. So I still don't. They haven't released the facts of that unless this cat was white. This is Kerry Walker Jones. She said they do not have what we got, the citizenship, so they can gather as much as they want. They still don't have the American numbers. She said they fucked around and found out though. Okay. Earl Henning said black people. Earl, what you talking about, Earl? What is Earl talking about?
This man talking about deporting American citizens pretty soon.
I hope not. Ace Cooley said the bad thing is the dollar from the FBA has funded multiple countries because every nationality comes to our community and open up businesses while we're getting denied business loans. They took our black dollars and sent them back home and gave nothing to the people that supported them. Well, doesn't that demonstrate a need for delineation right there? When you're being misused to that point, financially misappropriated to that point, wouldn't it be smarter for you to say, okay, let's centralize, man. Let's circle the wagon, man. Let's stop. No, we can't allow these types of people. We can't allow this in our community. Since we never identify who we are, that money goes freely. We spend freely. We go down to the gas station, grab some blunts. Right, man. I go in the gas station sometimes and I see people basically getting the equivalent of grocery. Like that. I'm standing there like, God damn, really? They had 12 bags of chips, 5 2-liters, candy bars. And it's like, that means this is what you're about to give your children most of the time, right? which is sad. So, but we're spending with the Indians, like we're spending Asians. Any immigrants can come into our community. It's fair game. So that, to me, that demonstrated the need for us to say, hey, let's stop this shit. Let's identify us and start doing for us, because that's what they're doing for themselves. So how you gonna get mad at us for trying to do the same thing? That's why I'm saying it makes no sense for people to say, man, that FBA shit. What you talking about? Like, do you even go see what it means first before you start shitting on it? So if your perspective is whatever, fuck it, this is whatever. Ain't no need for no black solidarity. Ain't no need for no black unity or nothing like that. Then just be with that. Just operate on that premise. I'm always gonna feel like everybody needs to self-identify and gain solidarity, right? I don't care who you are. I'm not mad at Puerto Ricans for having solidarity, or Mexicans, little China, little Haiti, little Jamaica. I'm not mad. I always thought it was dope that they could do that. But with us, it's like, nah, we ain't gonna let y'all do that, because we basically serve everybody. We everybody's whore. So we give some to everybody. We flippers.
That is true.
They said, yeah, Dion, it's all done by design. This is why I'm always talking about the people that's pulling the strings at the top. I want to say rest in peace to the homie Young Noble, man, from the Outlaws, from Tupac's Outlaws. He committed suicide, allegedly. They said he was self-inflicted gunshot. If you don't know who the Outlaws were, that was Tupac's side group. It was all young brothers, the Tupac family members, rappers he would encounter, he would meet. And I always loved the Outlaws. I really didn't get into their stuff after Tupac was gone. But the reason why I called this show Outlaw Radio is because of the song Outlaw on Me Against the World. That was forever one of my favorite songs, man.
Hell yeah, mine too.
I used to bump the shit out of that song.
Murder my mind state.
Yeah, man. So I used to, man, I played that song so much. And I used to always say, because I did college radio and the name of my show was Urban Moods, right? And so I used to be like, I had this show and I would play this music and people used to be calling in and whatnot. And then somebody asked me one time, like, when you get out, when you go home, you're going to start a radio show, what you going to call it? And I could never come up with a name. As a matter of fact, when I first started podcasting, we was called Chocolate City.
What type of shit? What that mean?
Well, I'm a Parliament dude, man. I rocks with Parliament. If you've never heard Chocolate City by Parliament, and he's talking about DC, he's really talking about black solidarity. So you never heard Chocolate City by Parliament?
Hell no.
Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. I'm a funk baby. So, but that was always one of my favorite songs. And if you listen to that song, how he break it down, like, yeah, we got Detroit, we got New York, we got Chicago, we got LA, and paint the White House black. He put Ali as the president and Aretha Franklin was the first lady. It was a dope ass song. If you know, right? So that's why. And then I started to look and I started saying, like, it's a male stripper movie called Chocolate City, right? Like Chocolate City started to be like referring towards stripper shit. And so I said, no, let me think of another name. And the first thing that came to my mind was Outlaw Radio, because I felt like the outlaws exist as people who are on the edge of society. They're not accepted by the mainstream. The things that they say, people don't big up and cheer. Most of the time they're going to speak up and give you the real when you don't want it. And they'll do things that you might not agree with. I said, I identify with that. But I think it's sad that at this point, Tupac is dead. Yaki Gaddafi is dead, who was an outlaw. What's the other one's name? Because Muta and Edie are still alive. But there's Yaki Gaddafi, and then there's the one who died. Is it Napoleon? Who died in a car accident a couple years ago. And now Young Noble. So 4 out of the 6 are deceased. That's just sad, man. And then Gonzo, who used to be with them a lot, who would come in on a lot of Tupac and Outlaw songs. You probably didn't know it was him. He's dead too. He died about 3 years ago. He was murdered in Las Vegas. So yeah, man, I think it's sad, man. I just hate when our hip hop icons just die, man. You never get their stories, man. You never get to hear about classic songs and classic moments. Kerry Walker Jones is talking about Trump. She said he would strip citizenship from people who commit crimes. This would include us if we throw ourselves on the front lines of their fight. Yeah, so if they can say you committed a crime, then I can send you somewhere. So that makes people scared to even stand up against him. It's crazy. It's a crazy time to live in, man. I see a lot of people with no backbone.
But he's doing everything that he wanted to do to turn it into a autocracy they was talking about.
Yeah, he wants to be a dictator.
Yeah. And like when you start discrediting the media, you know what I'm saying? You make it seem like it's everybody else and it's not you. You know, like white people just think it's everybody else that they hard down on their luck, but it ain't them. You know, dismantling the government.
He says,
went up in there.
He says my favorite song was called "Violent" off the Tupacalypse Now.
Hell yeah,
Violent was dope.
Yeah. Man, that song has so much bass in there. On my mama, that motherfucker used to ring.
I think my favorite song on that album was "Trapped." I used to love the song "Trapped." And yo, they got me trapped in this prison of seclusion. Happiness living on the streets is a delusion.
Pac was a revolutionary, man. I don't care what nobody says.
I don't know, Kamar, did you bump Outlaws? I know everybody in our era bumped Tupac. I don't know. Some people though, you know.
Definitely.
That was one of my groups, man. I used to be like, man, them little dudes need their own album. It just seemed like when Pac died, like, I don't know, maybe the leadership wasn't there anymore. Because you'd have thought they'd have got a record deal and just kept making music. They had like 2 albums.
No, but they was wild too.
Yeah, that's what they was so young. Them niggas was young as hell. So yeah, man, that's rest in peace. And they're saying he had a heart attack, like a massive heart attack, and survived. So he had become a lot more spiritual, and he was reflecting on his second chance at life. But I was listening to Yuckmouth, who said that was one of his guys, and he said the medicine they gave him for his heart made him have suicidal thoughts. So I don't know if there's any truth to this. And there's some people say he would have never done that. He would have never done that. This is set up. But, you know, people do that. Like, there's people still saying Pimp C was a conspiracy and his brother-in-law poisoned him and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's a conspiracy. When somebody died, it'd be like, he ain't really died from natural causes. But, man, it's sad, man.
Like, they was even talking about it's a conspiracy with the Puffy shit. You know what I'm saying? They hate Puffy. And on the real, I feel like that, too, because like you said, y'all got this man on buying pussy out of state. On the real. Like, what's wrong with if I see a woman?
He has what you call a residual conviction. You know why? Because it ain't even about the minor factor that he got convicted on. It's what he did that he didn't get convicted for. Most people are pissed at Puffy for the tape. That video, most people in this country who have a disdain for Puffy, unless it's personal, hate him because of that footage. That is the most horrible thing you could ever show a man kicking, punching, throwing like that. That everything about that makes most of us, because I know some people out there who are a little bit more, irrational.
Yeah.
But for me, I got a daughter, right? Like that for me. Once I seen, I said, "Oh no, oh my God." So I think his conviction was more residual because the Fed case fell away, and then they just were scrapping to give him something. So yeah, this probably ain't the crime you should be going to jail for, but you should be going to jail because of some of the things you've done. And what didn't we see? We seen that.
I think he snitched on somebody.
Huh?
I think he snitched on somebody.
Okay. Well, you heard the latest news, right? The government said there's no Epstein list and he died by suicide. He was not murdered. So there's no Epstein list, right? Okay. So who did Puffy tell him?
And really what they did is they normalized that behavior in the music industry too.
Okay.
Like they gave themselves a pass for anybody else who do them type of parts. They were saying he learned that shit from Clive Davis now.
It's been a long tradition.
So everybody else at this point got to get a pass.
Man, Kamar. Now, see, you always make me think of history because we talk about Aretha Franklin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her father was a very well-known, powerful. See, back then, before rappers and everything took over, the preachers was the celebrities, right? They would make albums. They would tour the country. Her father, Reverend C.L. Franklin, was one of the biggest, right? And they've talked about parties, sexual and bisexual. Now, they was doing church. They were recording. They was doing gospel music. And those parties he used to throw are infamous because they said, and it was just the black, Christian community or whatever. And so some of them were bisexual. There was drinking. There was drugs. She actually got pregnant the first time at 12 years old. And then was pregnant 2 years later at 14. I think she had 3 children by the time she was 17 years old. And a lot of people said that her father allegedly was the father of at least one of them.
That's sad.
That just goes to show you how long this shit been going on, man. Because he talked about Clive Davis. Like that has been debauchery has been around for a very long time.
Yeah, I just feel like he may have, because I don't know nobody out. This is the first time I ever seen somebody beating a Fed case.
I seen Irv Gotti beat it.
Yeah.
And some I thought there was somebody else. So there's Puffy, there's Irv Gotti. I thought it was somebody else famous who beat a Fed case. I don't know. I have to go into my annals, man. But you're right. You see, they said when Puffy got back to the prison, the prisoners gave him a standing ovation.
Hey, look, I seen. I mean, my homeboy, T told me. He said when they one convicted, he had a Fed case. He had to go sit down for a year, and he said they sat him down in the room and showed him this movie about all kind of egregious shit going down in the Fed joints right around the country. And they show you this, telling you this where you headed. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, if you're going to snitch, you know what I mean? Now's your time to get, you know what I'm saying? Get your way up out, talk your way up out of here, say something. And like, that was the only times I ever remember a motherfucker getting up out of them cases. You know what I'm saying? The dog said most people fold when they get to that point.
Well, for all intents and purposes, Brother Von Mays beat a Fed case. I mean, people might say, well, he pled out, but he didn't go to jail.
Right.
So there we go. Right. Come on,
I don't know. No, I mean, I ain't saying that towards that. I'm just saying I don't know.
No, like, he did. Yeah.
You know, at first I said I don't know nobody that beat one, but y'all named a couple people. So
I'm sure we could keep.
Well, most of the time when you go to the Fed,
we know what they did.
Most of the time when you go to the feds, though, especially like for drugs and shit, you're not going to a federal maximum penitentiary. You either going to a medium or you going to a minimum. Most of the people that are in federal maximum penitentiaries are a lot of people from Washington, D.C. and I think the Virginia area because they don't have a state penitentiary. So anytime you do something in one of those districts, in Washington, D.C. or Virginia, you damn near automatically go to the feds. Now, unless you committed, like, say, with the D.C. sniper or the Unabomber or what was the other one, Ted, the guy that blew up the Oklahoma building, you know what I'm saying? Those people went to federal maximum penitentiaries.
Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah, Timothy McVeigh. But most of the time when you go for little drugs and stuff, you don't really go to no max like that. You know what I'm saying?
Kerry Walker Jones said, there's a 666 in his head. His old ass ain't had no stroke or nothing. You talking about Trump? And she talking about Trump. She said it because he ain't had no stroke or nothing. He the devil incarnate. Mama Jenkins said, "All Eyes on You," my song, "All Eyes on Me," which is my favorite song on that album too. Well, that's one of my favorites. It's so that's it ain't many songs I don't love on All Eyes on Me. Both albums, both CDs. It might be one or two that I don't listen to, but yeah, All Eyes on Me was an incredible song. There's all these people who run around. Tupac wasn't lyrical. He wasn't lyrical. I'm like, dude, what in the fuck?
Who said that?
That's the argument. I even heard. I was listening once again. I'm in the Powerverse, y'all. Excuse me as I digress. Bun B, who's one of my favorite rappers of all time, and Bun was saying, no, Tupac wasn't lyrical. He wasn't technically metaphors and punchlines and all this. But then everybody says, yeah, but it was just the energy that he had that made you want to do something. And I'm like, dude, that's the whole point of being lyrical. Nobody cares if you got a bunch of metaphors, but the people don't feel it. That is the ultimate demonstration of him being. Now, I do got to ask y'all this. Let me read my comments because this happened to me too. I forgot to talk about this over the weekend. Earl Henny said Hollywood. Ace Cooley said, after finding out how much Cassie was involved with the bullshit, it's hard to feel bad for her. They were never taking Puffy out. They were looking to knock him down a few notches. That trial was a show. His music is streaming is up, y'all. They saying he making all that money back again. Ace Cooley said Jay Prince beat a Fed case. Did he? I thought he investigation or a case. Was he ever charged or were they just investigating it?
Right.
I only heard investigating. I don't think he was charged.
What you say, Kamar?
I only heard about him being investigated.
Yeah, that's I know that he sued. They turned and sued because they found flaw with the federal investigators. I don't know if they never charged him, I don't think. He said, who will you tell on to save your asset? I don't do crime, so I ain't gotta tell on nobody. That's the number one way you can guarantee you ain't told on nobody. Don't do no crime, right? Ain't a motherfucker in this world who can say Kev snitched on me. He's a goddamn lie. Kev ain't snitched on shit. And when we was doing shit, I never got caught. So I never had to tell on nobody. My name ain't on nobody paperwork. If it is, I tell the motherfucker who wrote it you's a goddamn lie. Ain't never snitched on nobody. But the number one way to avoid it is just to not do crime. You know, that's the best way to avoid it. Then you don't have to worry about it. He said Pac was an activist. Pac was just he's raised as a revolutionary, man. Revolutionary, militant. Have you ever been around some really militant black people? They're different. They move different. And imagine being raised in that. Real Panthers. You're raised by real Black Panthers. Assata Shakur is your godmother. And, you know, you got all these people who are really historically, you know, already advocated as real revolutionaries. So they move differently, man. Like, so I'm pretty sure what he knew, how he moved, his whole mentality of how he moved every day was different. I did take the time, y'all. I did take the time to watch the movie Sinners. Have y'all both seen the movie Sinners?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I'm watching it now, but I've seen it at the show, though.
I want to kind of talk about the movie for a minute. And I know, Kamar, you had seen it before me, and you said you didn't want to really give it up because I hadn't seen it yet.
Right.
So I seen it. And let me say this. I will say this, number one. I think that's the best movie of the year. That is one of the best movies I've ever seen. And I'm speaking from a cinematographer, like as far as the cinematography of it, the way it was directed, the story is multi-tiered and multi-leveled. And I don't know if a lot of people picked up on the messages. But
I ain't pick up on nothing.
We had just had a conversation. About who we define as Satan, the devil, if you will, had once been an angel in heaven. And if you believe, if you don't, you don't. Either way it goes, this is kind of like a parallel. But what got him kicked out of heaven is because he was the over the arts. He was the music. He was the minister of music. So he's basically a musician. And he was the greatest ever that had ever done it. And he got so great in his influence that he got beside himself and God kicked him out of heaven. And he became Lucifer. That's his name was Lucifer, but he became Satan. So when they say in this movie, some people have a musical gift so great that they can awake the spirits of people, right? They can awake the spirits of the ancestors. And I thought about it like all of the greatest musicians, Michael Jackson, Prince, all these great musicians who are no longer here had something about them that could just put people in a trance, right? And so when he really got to playing in the club and you seen the ancestors was dancing with him and he had the vampires was drawn to him because he was one of those types of dudes. That's number one. But number two is they had the voodoo lady, which also represented at one point what our spirituality was, you know, and our ancestors was. So, and then you had the white dude and if y'all ain't seen it, cut the show off. The white dude who was the lead vampire was like Irish, and he was of Irish Catholicism, right? And so it just takes this whole idea of religion and spirituality and just kind of plays with it in your head, and then you add vampires to it. And it's like, whoa, like that movie was cold, man. Even at the end when they came back and seen dude when he was old, right? And dude just talked to him. They didn't kill him. They didn't slaughter the whole bar. But he lived forever with his girl. They was together forever. And so the message there is, well, who wants to live forever, right? That's so against what was taught traditionally because no human can live forever. And then they said that the spirit can't get out of the body. They're stuck here because of the curse of vampirism. So I just thought the movie was dope, man. I was going to watch it again, but I was like, no, I ain't going to do that.
Yeah, you should.
Wow.
You'll watch it again. Hey, I saw a lot in it. I saw all that, but then I also saw like the correlation between the vampires and white people. You know what I mean? How they call black people and get them on their side, dancing to their music. You know, they was doing that outside the bar, dancing to their music. They had the white girl to come that could trick the black people and invite it into the house. You know what I'm saying? Only to do the bullshit that we do. You know what I'm saying? We invited them to the picnic pretty much with her. But it was a whole lot in that movie, man. They had some racial issues and shit.
Yeah, he killed the Klan. That was the best part of the movie.
You know what I'm saying? The spiritual shit going on.
No, listen to what the vampire told him. Y'all ain't gonna never be free. He said, you don't even peep. This little juke joint you bought from the clan, they coming to kill you. This ain't no celebratory place. This is what he says, a death floor. Like, he's like, dude, they are never, you might as well join me, because white people are never gonna treat y'all right, and you can team up with us and we gonna go after them. And we're gonna get after them. I'm like, wow, he trying to twist his mind and put a racial aspect to it. It was a lot, man. I was sitting by myself watching it. My wife she won't watch it. You know what I'm saying? She won't watch it. This is
I thought it was more of a comedy though than a horror, because that shit was fun.
You know what, Kamar? Up on the average, I thought it was just a vampire movie. I thought it was just a horror movie. I didn't think there would be any kind of messages or like kind of plot twists or anything. I just thought it was okay with some vampires going to attack some black people in old school Mississippi. I never thought that there would be any kind of messages or in it. Kamar's frozen. You're right, Kevin LaFleur. John Gotti did beat a Fed case, or did he? Did he beat a bunch of state cases and lose his Fed case? Or how many did he actually face a Fed case? I know he beat a lot of state cases, New York state cases. I thought RICO was how they finally got him. I thought that the feds, Rudy Giuliani was a federal prosecutor, wasn't he? I'm not up on the case that much, but I know Giuliani was the hero who utilized RICO to bring down organized crime in New York City. That's how he did it. Earl Henning said, no jail food for me, bro. Love being outside. Hey, I'm the same way, man. I'm not really a jail dude. Like, I do 9 years. I don't want to stand on my head. I can't. I don't want to do 2 nights, man. I'm not really a jail guy. Like, at this point, too,
my guy Stu, he said, I don't even want to do 2 nights.
I'm straight. I'm for real, man. And I don't mean, that's what I'm saying. I know that I don't like to do, that I'm not a jail guy. So that means I'm not going to do any crime so that I can get caught and then have to face snitching on somebody to keep myself free. You feel what I'm saying? That's, I'm just like, man, I better get a job because this criminal shit is over for me. Let me see. This is Ace. He's saying there was a lot of metaphoric symbolism in there. I like when they went through time and the roof was on fire. Sharita Shaw said, now I need to rewatch it because I had no clue of any of this. Okay. Go back and watch it.
Me too.
Ace Cooley said it was funny.
I didn't look at it like that. I just looked at it as entertainment.
He said it was funny when old boy said, I believe I. Yeah, that was funny when he said, y'all smell like that. Was like, what? He was like, I shat myself. Like Kamar said, it was some funny parts, man. But he said maybe she see all this money, she gonna let you put your pecker in her mouth. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? No, it was some funny parts, man. The dancing that they was doing was funny. Like that shit was. I'm like, look how, and even the black people was out there doing the rain dance, the river dance. I thought it was funny, man. No, and Ryan Coogler is a director, a black film director who does that. Because like even the first Black Panther, I didn't watch the second Black Panther because I didn't think it should be a woman Black Panther. I thought they should have just recast the role. The brother was dead, right? Like, okay, he wasn't the real, But the first one, there was a lot of symbolism in that when it starts out in Oakland in 1989, and that one of the dude had came there and became a drug dealer. The Prince of Wakanda had came to Oakland and was selling drugs, and dude came like, hey, he was mad because he was like, with all the suffering these people go through over here, how can we have Wakanda as this powerful nation and y'all don't let these people be enslaved? And they're Africans. They've been enslaved. They've been oppressed. They've been ostracized. And his whole thing was, why aren't we helping these people? Which I thought was funny because at the end, they ended up saying, okay, we're going to be cool with the UN now and the white people, but they never done nothing. Wakanda, with all their medical advances and technology, it never helped us over the years that we've been here enslaved. So there's always messages to what he does. And I'd rather watch a movie with a message because I watched that and then I watched this Heads of State with Idris Elba and John Cena, and it's just an action movie. It didn't have no real point. It was just mindless action. I was like, no, I enjoyed Sinners more because there was action, but there was also a lot of things to watch and pick up on. They call them Easter eggs. It was a dope movie though, man. And I love the music too because some of them songs where they put the hip hop and the blues together and stuff like that. Like that's just dope. Yeah, it was dope, man. It was a dope movie, man. Y'all should check it out. And especially if I didn't go to the movies to see it. I've seen it on Amazon. So I wait to shit. I still ain't seen Bad Boys 3 or 4, whatever the last one was. They will not put that shit on Netflix or nothing. What y'all doing, man? Will Martin, man, come on, man, with the movie, man. I ain't paying. I'm not gonna pay to stream television and then go pay $20 to go to the movies. I'm not gonna do that. Maybe
some movies I'll be wanting to go see just to get that effect. You know what I'm saying?
It's always a good date too.
I'll go to all. Most of them, I catch here. I got a box with shit come on.
Yeah. And if it's a good date night,
it makes for a cool little date night too.
Yeah. If your girl say, no, I want to, okay. All right. Well, me throwing my cat ham nasties and button my shirt all the way up to the top.
Yeah,
step out here, get a bite to eat or something.
Couple hours, be back.
Right. Yeah, eat out the same popcorn bucket and shit, all that little teenage love shit. He said the UN has been infiltrated by Zionists. Yeah, we know that the West has been infiltrated by Zionism. Yeah, the Western world has supported Zionism for a very long time, Ace. I think that's about it, unless one of y'all got something y'all wanted to throw in here, because we got a little blanket, but if not, we can subside until Wednesday, because we'll be back Wednesday. I just, it's good. Shout out to Ja Forte for coming on here, because I know he has done this work with these kids and been on the front line with 414 Life and all that kind of stuff. And the discussion that we had earlier about the youth, it's always cool, right? I mean, I still think it's very shameful, the display. Just to think that our kids can't control themselves is troubling to me, Kamar. Like, I'm looking like, I want to see young brothers and sisters out here shining, man. I want to see them saying, no, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to do this. I hate to see them behaving in that savage way. They look like savages, man. They look like savage animals. I'm sorry. Listen. I told you, I was hesitant to even open Facebook because I was nervous that I would see my son either on there fighting or getting beat up. And I was like, I don't want to see this, man. But luckily, he was smooth. He was with his girl. He was off in the side. He like, Dad, I was moving like, that's not really him anyways, right? Like, he's, but I just feel sorry for these kids, because I'm wondering, I'd like to ask all of them, do you intend on doing anything with your life? And what are your aspirations? Like, what do you want to be? I know they might think it's stupid. Like, man, this motherfucker. Nah, man, for real. Like, what you want to be? Because this is how you look. Man. This is how you looked on the news, on Facebook. Imagine if I turn that on and my son is on there squabbing. I'm going to be like, that's where we at?
I know today me and my guy was talking, because tomorrow is B-Day. And he going to be 48, and I'm going to be 48 in November, and it's somber. But I'm like, that time went by too quick. Cause I just remember when I was 16 and 17 and, doing dumb shit, you know what I'm saying? And, you see these young men out here and you want to give them some growth, you want to give them some wisdom and some knowledge, but, sometimes you can't though, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you really can't, because they don't want to listen to it. Like I seen a couple guys, and little homies, when I chop it up with them, they not regular little homies, but I be seeing them like, I be like, little bro, you out here on this wild shit. I was like, you running around with that 30 on you, you know what I'm saying? And white folks catch you, or you got to pull that trigger, you know what I'm saying? When you kill, even just shooting somebody, you can't go to sleep at night on that type of shit. For one, you be scared, and then you be looking at the news, you know what I'm saying? Wondering if you killed a person, you know what I'm saying? All type of shit, and just going through that psychologically is, but I guess the drugs they use today, they don't feel nothing by it. Oh yeah, I got something to say, because it's time for me, and I got to go back to this stank ass job. But anyway, I passed my boiler exam today, so I'm just waiting for MPS to send me the offering letter or whatever. What you say, Kamar?
He didn't say nothing. I said,
yeah, I'm waiting for MPS to send me my offering letter or whatever they gonna do. And I'm going to go politely to the city of Milwaukee and put my 2 weeks notice in. It ain't none of your business where I'm going. It ain't none of your business where I want to leave.
You going to tell us anyways?
No, not y'all. I'm talking about them.
Oh, okay.
I want to go in there. I want to go in there and get, I don't like that motherfucker job. I want to go in there and get a
just bow and have class. Just say, nah, man, I'm gone, moving on. You ain't got to always leave bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going to do. I'm moving on. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't for me. You know what I'm saying?
Just thank God that you got opportunity. Now, Kamar, I want to do something different tonight. In order to close the show, I want you to give us a real OG moment and then we'll be up out of here. Because normally I just do my little speech at the end, my little epilogue, and then we out. So let's get a real OG moment tonight before we close.
Let's see here. Real OGs. We got to do something about these anger issues. Because I'm going to tell you, it's a whole bunch of brothers in prison that never did. Stop me when I'm...
Be the change you want to see, man. I'm all down to get together, man. I said that I'm a little pessimistic. I can be a cantankerous asshole sometimes. But if the right networking opportunity presents itself, I'm not against it. I'm just not really one who wants to be a part of a group think session. And I don't want to ever be held to somebody else's standard of quality. And that's the only standard that we can go by. So I wouldn't want to disrupt the rhythm of the room by doing what I normally do, which is be myself. Right. So I'm not against solidarity. I think it's absolutely needed. I just hope that we can trim the fat and become more efficient and really start to do something instead of just always talking about something. Because we all know if your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution to it, your ass is a coon. I see y'all Wednesday, man. Peace and love, man. Real OGs, baby.
Real OG.